This is NTV.
Welcome everybody to Every New Day. This is the end stream of myself, Berd, and of course my co-host, the
Edge.
infallible
Welcome,
Edge.
everyone. Welcome to the end stream.
Yes,
It's good to
this
have
is the
you here.
Friday. Yeah, indeed, this is the Friday stream, and as you know, on the Friday stream, we do the news round headlines of the last week, and just to let you know that obviously, if you're not aware and you're new here, we stream simultaneously across Rumble, Kick, and YouTube. Check our channels out. Hit the follow if you have any of those. If you're on any of those platforms, we of course appreciate it. Smash subscribe, drop a like, and let us know what you think. Please leave some comments. And where else can they find us, Edge?
Well, I'll just say them all over again. So we're on YouTube. We're simultaneously streaming on YouTube, on Rumble, and on Kick. And our socials are X.
Yes, on X. We are building that
Discord.
up on X. We're on, also on Instagram now. We're on Instagram.
We're on Instagram.
So check us out there too. And yeah,
we just uploaded a short on Instagram.
We uploaded a short. We're going to do more shorts. We're going to release a lot more shorts. And obviously we release a lot more clips on our YouTube. You will find our main videos on YouTube and Rumble. And of course, we have our own community on Discord, which we're building, and a thriving one that is developing right now. Very interesting. We welcome everybody. Anyone who's a member can join and participate, contribute as well with news tips, and they can participate in the conversation. And of course, down the line, we will begin integrating our community into these streams where we can have call-ins and talk to them. And, you can say your piece. So, stay tuned for that and join if you can. We do stress to join now because at some point, yes, we will close off the invite because we will make it for only specific members and making it more exclusive because we want to make sure that the community is not just a free-for-all down the line as we grow, So making it more interesting. So we got quite a few things to cover, right?
You've also posted the links
in the chat.
To like where we're streaming, and also all our social medias there in the chats,
right,
across all platforms.
And we have a few things to cover, I guess, and it's kind of deja vu all over again. But
is there something you want to get off your chest, like to begin with? Because it's been pretty intense with the news lately, and a lot of things kind of feel a bit like deja vu, or we're kind of like repeating stuff like all over again and again and again. And it feels, like in Fight Club, there's Edward Norton like making photocopies, and he's like, everything is a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah, that's a perfect reference right there, I would say.
Yeah. Or like Agent Smith in The Matrix Reloaded, where he's like, there's like loads of them all over the place, like jumping on Neo, like kind of feels asphyxiating, like what's going on in the world, like constantly.
Yeah, I mean, you can check out the short, and it will be on our Instagram as well. It's one of our first YouTube shorts where I just let loose a bit on that because it's preparing the docket for today, which is like what we're covering. It's just it's the same old in and out. It's nothing's different. It's this constantly, and this is why people are fed up with the news, and this is why
everybody's like fed up with the negativity, like constantly.
It's like it ain't news because it's the same.
It's like pedophiles or
it's a repetition. So we're going to try to give you something fresh in relation to what it is, and we're going to have some discussion about it. And
we are going to report like what's going on. It's just we understand that probably everybody else who keeps watching the news is probably sick and tired of like
rinse and repeat
all the time. It's like nothing. It's not just about it being interesting or not. It's just the negativity of everything, and it's just too much sometimes. So we want to approach it in our own way.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. Let's as we usually do, we get into the current events and headlines. We start with some EU news. So we have so there's this thing about the rule of law report this year, 2025, for EU candidates, and pressures on the judiciary and corruption remain an issue or issues of concern. As you know, we have brought up previously news and reported on issues in relation to the corruption and non-transparency that occurs within the EU. For instance, there's already the case of the EU Parliament suing Ursula von der Leyen, who's part of the EU Commission, in relation to how she has been using funds. Then there's obviously the non-transparency in relation to the NGOs. We've had a video about that. So yeah, there seems to be a lot of mishandling and stuff. Shock horror in this, and it is an overall outlook which has been presented on the 8th of July. It is an annual EU report, but this one is assessing not only member states but also 4 Western Balkan candidates, because of course the EU has to grow. They want to increase their size because it's never enough, right? And these candidates are Albania, Montenegro, North Macedonia, and Serbia. Reflecting the bloc's continued focus on judicial integrity and democratic governance. The key takeaway from all of this is that while structural judicial reforms have advanced, especially in Albania and Montenegro, enforcement remains weak across all areas: corruption, media freedom, civic space, and political oversight, which still faces major challenges. Now, this is all in relation to like how for them to enter, the EU. There are these internal issues that are going on in these countries, and this is part of the problem that we've seen previously, as you know as well, Edge. Like, for instance, when they brought in, for instance, Poland and a lot of the Eastern European countries, and for instance, Romania as well.
Yeah.
And it just seems to be the case where it's like the EU just wants to expand. Ironically enough, when they're accusing others
geographically.
When they're accusing others of expansionism, by the way. And I won't mention who, but it just feels like a lot of these countries aren't prepared yet, to enter into the same dynamic, because what most people don't realize is that a lot of Eastern Europe, they entered capitalism late, and it was very sudden. It was like a shock. So a lot of things in the Eastern bloc or the Balkan states, it's very different. They have still very traditionalist values. They see their perspectives are very different from a lot of the Western Europe and Central Europe. And so, it takes, it's for instance, why there's this disconnect, and why, the EU, they will brand someone like Viktor Orban or Hungary as being like, the dictator, jokingly, right? Although tongue in cheek. But that's just because Hungary and other countries, they're not the same as the rest of Western Europe. And sometimes it takes a bit of time how, society progresses and how the values, must modify. Meanwhile, there's other countries that probably fit better, but they're not being recognized. I mean, one other country was Georgia, and don't get me wrong, I think the Georgian people are great. Georgian countryside, beautiful, but their government, their system, it's very, very starkly different from the rest of what we know as European values, let's say, right? There's a few things that just don't fly, which here you would ordinarily be a bit, you question. And
are you talking about like fanatical and extreme in certain issues, or
what
their beliefs?
What we define as like progressive values over here, in terms of social issues and social interests for certain people, they're not kind of recognized in countries like that. And but then again, you can't really blame those countries, because those countries have been immersed within their traditions for so long, and they also came out of the Soviet bloc. People forget the Soviet Union broke down in the beginning of the 90s, and so these countries, they went through a lot of difficulty, and then they had to adapt very fast. And then it's like capitalism and liberal democracy and everything, and in most cases, this is why you find rampant corruption, and well, I mean, you find that also in most Western nations. But yeah, so that's what's going on at the moment. But sticking also with the EU, we'll move on into other EU news, obviously connecting to the European Union. We have EU stockpiling and medical countermeasures strategies to strengthen crisis readiness and health security. That's also quite interesting, given how the EU, handled COVID during those last 3 years, from 2021, right? 2020. 2020 until 2023.
It's pretty intense, to say the least.
Yeah. I mean,
for everyone, like nobody had a good time. That's for sure. That we were always on edge.
It makes you wonder, like, why are they stockpiling? Like, what's going on here? Like, it seems a bit, what's coming down the line on the horizon. They've already been like hinting at like the next pandemic is coming. The next, so why do we even have these issues arising? First of all,
do they know something we don't? Yeah.
Perhaps. I mean, Bill Gates has been raising the alarm, so you have to always question about him.
He was raising the alarms before the previous
yes,
pandemic,
he was,
which is very concerning.
But then, obviously, in other news of the EU, we have EU chief, our favorite Disney villain, Queen Ursula von der Leyen, is comfortable after surviving a no confidence vote. We have a video here. Sorry, she survived a confidence vote, not a no confidence. Yeah, let's play that.
Yeah. So this video is from France 24 in English.
Now, the EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen survived a vote of no confidence at the European Parliament. The motion, which unsurprisingly failed, was a political headache for the 66-year-old who was pushed to defend her record during the COVID-19 pandemic. Today's no-confidence motion was the first time a European Commission president had to face one since 2014. For more on this story, we can bring in our European Affairs editor, Armin Georgian. Armin, good to see you. Was this a resounding vote of confidence in Ursula von der Leyen?
It's a bit of a mixed bag, Delano. On the one hand, the party groups which said they would vote for her, they kept their word, they did do that. But a lot of people didn't turn up to vote at all. In fact, 167 MEPs didn't vote, including people from that broad centrist pro-von der Leyen bloc.
What does that mean?
That
what does that mean? They didn't vote. Like what should happen? Like
this is literally atypical of people who work at the European Commission. It's literally like you show up to vote. Most people don't even read what the heck they're voting. They're just told like, okay, vote for this because and this is the.
I'm surprised people are getting paid.
They have all the concessions. That's the thing. It's the best job ever. Hey, folks, you want to get a good job? You're struggling to find work?
Yeah,
get a job at the European Commission or Parliament. I'm telling you right now, it's like. You're going to be like a fat cat. You'll be very happy. A lot of concessions. All you have to do sometimes roll out of bed and show up to vote for something you don't even know what it's about. But that's why I'm laughing, because this has been an issue of contention for a while at the.
And these people are told what to vote. Did you say?
Ridiculous, yeah, in most cases. But I'm not surprised that people didn't even turn up to vote because they forget. This is how lackadaisical everything functions there. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, she survived.
Well, it means that they sort of gave a cold shoulder to her in a way if they didn't turn up, I guess. I mean, if a motion is important enough, then you turn up and vote. In any case, in the end, she did get the votes to get her over the line easily, and obviously she was feeling confident. She didn't even come to this session. She'd actually been in Strasbourg earlier in the week, Delano, but today she was in the Ukraine recovery.
I get, the other people didn't show, but like, she's the talk of this, and she's not showing.
This is what we are trying to expose. Like, this is what we're trying. Exactly. This is what we want to expose to the people, so they understand. Right. This is what we're covering, just so you understand how ridiculous this whole setup is. It's ridiculous. And don't forget, right? We just mentioned earlier, and we've reported on it earlier, that she's being sued because of her handling of the funds
It's about
in relation.
billions.
Yeah,
Pfizer gate,
in
right?
relation to this whole defense plan and all this stuff, and it's like, yeah,
What
I don't
is
know.
going on?
Should we move on from this? And I mean,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can
Let's
we can
move on. I mean, she didn't even show up to her own. Actually, let's play like 30 seconds more to see.
Conference in Rome, so she wasn't even there. She was confident of winning, clearly.
So is she safe now, or will she be skating on thin ice?
Well, if we take, first of all, Pfizergate, okay, so that was the reason why this vote of no confidence was actually brought to the House. Those allegations are not going away. I mean, they've been like a cloud hanging over her for the last 4 years, but there are actually much more pressing issues than Pfizergate right now for MEPs. There's the question of what happens to the Green Deal, for example. That's a big one. There is the alignment between the Conservatives and the far right on various issues in committee votes in the European Parliament. That's a big topic. There's the big budget negotiations coming up. What are the spending priorities going to be? That's also kind of a political hot potato. So you've got a lot of tensions within the European Parliament and, of course, between von der Leyen herself.
Topic.
There you go. I mean, it's no surprises there. She is very comfortable, and I mean, she definitely has push or sway, and of course, she's got people.
She doesn't really seem phased. Like a normal person would think, oh, she's in deep shit, but she doesn't give a fuck.
No, she doesn't care. This is. She is actually just to give just to highlight something is that, I personally don't know this person. We personally don't know Ursula von der Leyen. I can't really speak on her personal character, and I don't think anyone can unless they know them. But the reality is this: her actions in relation to her job position or her post, right, which she wasn't elected for, by the way. None of us, no one had a say in it. She is unfortunately directing, Europe or the European Union, I should say, in a very sort of towards a very dangerous position, in my view.
Yeah,
and this is what we have discussed previously. We even have a special report on that in relation to the, European military-industrial complex, which is developing, because she is one of the biggest proponents of that, and obviously the captain behind it.
I don't think anybody in Europe wants war, to be honest.
Talking of which, still sticking with the EU, we have obviously another interesting video where we have, just to give you a little introduction, at the EU Parliament, there was a bit of a clash of interests, obviously, because Clare Daly decided to give a somewhat of a lecture, let's say, regarding the Ukraine war and how the whole situation is nothing but a NATO proxy. Now, we're just reporting what she's saying. Now, for those who don't know who Clare Daly is, she's been an outspoken Irish politician known for her radical left-wing views and strong anti-war stance. So bear in mind, this is not a far right-wing person. This is someone from the left wing, okay? And this is their position. She served as a Teachta Dála in the Irish Parliament from 2011 to 2019, representing Dublin North and Dublin Fingal. And she was elected as a member of the European Parliament for Dublin from July 2019 until July 2024. And she's affiliated with the Independents for Change and the left, that's what they're called, the left group in the European Parliament.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting...
I suppose first and foremost to everybody for being here, some old faces, some new, but a special thanks to Andre for organising and for Phidias for being here, because we meet at a very dangerous juncture in world history when very few people at European leadership level, either in member states or here in these European Union bodies, understand the scale of the repression which is undermined and ongoing at the moment, let alone are prepared to do anything about it. So we are extremely grateful to Andre for organising this event, and we're very lucky that he is here. And
let's give it up for Andre.
In this building, a couple of weeks ago, downstairs, the Irish Commissioner, the main man, Michael McGrath is his name, he's responsible for rule of law in the European Union, and he addressed the plenary session of the European Parliament. And he told MEPs on that day that democracy is the founding value of the European Union, together with respect for rule of law and fundamental rights. He told them that freedom of expression, freedom of assembly and association, and the right to participate in democratic life are enshrined in EU treaties, the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union, EU legislation, and common constitutional traditions of member states. And he then went on and told them that citizens should be able to form their own opinions in a public space where there is access to reliable information from a plurality of sources with different views which can be expressed, where political discussions can be confronted, and where it's possible to disagree with one another.
I know I'm playing it fast, but she is on a roll on the highlighting.
Yeah, the reason we play it fast is so we can cover
stuff in
most things. So
we can cover like a lot more.
Indeed, who in hell would disagree with that? But it's so brazenly out of touch with reality that I think many people would have found themselves scratching their head and going, where is this utopia that he's talking about? And none more so than myself and my colleague, former MEP Mick Wallace, who's also here today, who know the Commissioner well. And we knew him from our time in the Irish Parliament, and he never stood out then as a crusader for democracy. In fact, he was a member of successive governments which were entirely actually undemocratic in their nature. And his newfound interest in democracy actually was, kind of particularly uncharacteristic until you looked at the title of the debate that he was introducing, and it was called "The Hungarian Government's Drift to Russian-Style Repression, Legislative Threats to Freedom of Expression and Democratic Participation." In other words, in layman's terms, this is the ongoing standoff between the centrist parties which have ruled Europe for decades now, who call themselves liberal, and the so-called illiberal regimes on the other hand, led by Hungary's President Viktor Orban. And then McGrath's words make sense. Because the real reason why the EU leadership stands so staunchly in defending free speech in Hungary is that it's speech that they agree with. And it's an entirely different matter if you have speech which they don't agree with. And that is the context of the European Union's disinformation policy. It's the fundamental point that people have to understand. It has nothing to do with democracy. It's a tactic that they use for people they don't like. And first and foremost, and most importantly, it is to clamp down on dissent, on those who would have the audacity to challenge those people who are in power. And so we have this fable of the EU's official platform for its disinformation obsession, that our democracies are under attack from malign foreign actors who want to spread disinformation, to undermine our societies and our governments, to influence our elections, to put us all against each other and break down our unity. And to stand up to this terrible threat, we have to defend our democracy by cracking down on disinformation.
We got someone in the chat here from YouTube, Ryan Lopez. I'm not sure. She's saying it. What do you want us to show? I don't quite understand. You want us to show what exactly? That the enshrined value of the EU lock up people for hate speech or dissenting speech? Well, the point is the EU has a consensual agenda, right? And that agenda is usually followed by all EU states. And the thing is, if you disagree with it, you generally get heavily criticized or heavily sanctioned. So is there a disconnect between what they say and what they do? I'm not sure if you're following exactly what we're saying. Clare Daly,
to be honest, people should be free to say what they want.
Well, if you live in a democracy,
lock up people for hate speech. Yeah, people
democratic
should
values,
be free to have their own opinion. That's
this is what I get sick and tired of, because people are the term democracy. It's much like racism today. It has no value anymore because people just use it as a buzzword now. Democracy, it's a threat to our democracy. What do you mean by that? When you're locking up other people and you're also censoring people and their ability. So right, okay. I think now, Ryan, you're following what we're saying. Yeah, exactly. I think we're on the same page here.
Yeah,
but and this is the problem, because. You can't put yourself on a pedestal by claiming you to be the fount of democratic values and liberal values and all these things, and then at the same time, right? And then you accuse. I think Clare Daly was giving an example there, but you can't then accuse countries like Hungary, and say well, Viktor Orban, and regardless of what you think about Viktor Orban, okay, because we've also reported about shenanigans with the government there and stuff like this. No one is. Clean, okay, but the point is you shouldn't be pointing fingers when you should be looking at yourself. And the thing is,
practice what you preach, basically.
Exactly. The EU is very far from being the representative of right, especially right now.
Right, with perfect example.
Exactly. Given that they want to now bolster up their military-industrial complex on the basis of defense. Again, another word, right? It's code, right? Defense, which equates to offense. So. Yeah, all good, all good. And thanks for being here, Ryan. We appreciate you. And please,
Yeah.
you know, feel free to interact, because that's the part of this stream. Like, this is what we're all about. You know, we want
Engagement.
Exactly. We are now going to be. Well, the problem is, it's not that nothing means nothing. It's just that it's almost Orwellian if you think about it, because, you know, it's like democracy is just a buzzword now, because it's like a PR buzzword. It's to use like, so it's this enshrined term to mean like everything in terms of, exactly. It's just like babble nowadays, because a lot nowadays is not very democratic, unfortunately. But
like they always say that, you know, everybody should have rights and all this, but let's be real, you know.
So we're gonna go into a big topic right now, because this topic is immigration to damnation, or long-term solution for dwindling birth rates and zero-level workforce labor. Let's see. Like, we're gonna unpack this first. Let's just report a bit on like what's going on currently, because that's what we do, and then we'll have you know, we'll
discussion like right after
the discussion and give our thoughts. I wrote all my treaties and pretty much that's what politicians do, filibustering. So without mass deportations and border control, there is no solution, MEP Georges Buxadé states. This is in relation to the Buxadé Report, which refers to a legislative report drafted by Spanish MEP Georges Buxadé, a member of the conservative Vox party, which is
Jorge, by the way. I'm just like curious.
Well, if it's Spanish, yeah, you could say Jorge or Jorge. Okay. I'm using more of the Portuguese alliteration here. Okay. But yeah, Jorge. He's a member of the conservative Vox party, which is obviously the Spanish party, and the European Conservatives and Reformists, ECR group in the European Parliament. It's formerly part of the reform package for Eurodac, the EU's biometric database for identifying asylum seekers and irregular migrants. So as you see with some of these articles, Europe needs immigrants, but does it want them? The problem is the term immigrants. It's been also misaligned and, you know, completely diluted here, because, you know, first of all, you have like, you know, asylum seekers, then you actually have, you know, legitimate legal immigrants, and then you have also illegal immigrants. And it seems that people, they have difficulty making distinctions here all the time. Everything gets bunked up into one thing, unfortunately. And this is, in my opinion, on both sides of the aisle in most cases. We have here in a short clip, Buxadé lays out his criticisms for EU migration policy, warning about weakness and danger from uncontrolled immigration. It is true that already, I think even Nigel Farage brought this up some time ago, that at the beginning, prior to the refugee crisis with the Syrians, the EU put forward an asylum policy, but the parameters and the wording were so vague. And Nigel Farage, again, whether you like him or not, doesn't matter, but he did raise the alarm by saying, like, okay, well, this is going to create astronomical issues, which actually have been even highlighted later on down the line by people who were even in favor of, you know, helping the refugees and everything, like Chancellor Merkel, who later then did say, well, you know, we overlooked and didn't consider like how insane, you know, managing this whole thing was. And this was all on the basis of the EU asylum policy that was pushed out. Because again, centralization of the EU, they push out the policies, and then every other EU state, you know, they take it into consideration, which is part of the reason why Hungary, who didn't accept it, had issues with the EU, and they were even, I think, somewhat sanctioned.
Gracias, Presidente. Thank you.
Sure, should I play it?
Yeah. This one's only 125, so you can put it normal.
Yeah. Just give me a sec.
No problem. Did you first bump to sign them into effect?
Very much, President. Habib Rahman, who's from Afghanistan, whose asylum application was rejected. He killed somebody in Saxony. This individual is out right now. Organizations that help these migrants they make these particular administrative procedures, which have no end, even more complicated. So deportation also has to take into consideration, of course, the result of an asylum procedure. If it is rejected, the individual has to be sent away, and the individual has to be incarcerated, held in detention until that moment comes to be deported to a third country. It is only thus that we can move forward, so that people understand that we have rights, we have laws, so that Europeans understand that and foreigners understand that as well. As far as the guarantee mechanism, I think it's quite clear that the various visa systems and the trade agreements, they ought to be suspended immediately if a third country does not accept returns. We need some sort of order and structure for these particular regulations to work. Nothing of this nature is in the proposal of the Commission, which leaves us in this horrific state of confusion and chaos. Thank you.
So obviously he's referring more so to asylum seekers who are coming in from war-torn countries or countries of problems, and in some particularities, some of these individuals do cause crime, and then it's all about how to deal with these people. Where, interestingly enough, which we're going to cover in a second, but before I do, I just want to mention in relation to this, the reception for this was that the supporters for this Buxadé Report are Vox from Spain, Lega from Italy, AfD from Germany, the PIS, which is the Law and Justice party from Poland, and the Rassemblement National from France, which is obviously Le Pen's party. And they view it as a necessary tool to control illegal migration and protect borders, which is something that Poland is very, which also we reported on previously. They've been very, very heavy-handed on, because they want to actually, they've put an amount of effort and funding into securing their borders. The critics for this have been the Greens and the European Free Alliance, the Progressive Alliance of Socialists and Democrats, NGOs and human rights groups, this is because they have condemned it as a violation of human rights, especially concerning child data collection and racial profiling. Mm-hmm. So, I can kind of see in some degrees a bit of both sides here, because it's like, how do you protect the interests of the citizens, legal citizens within your country, and also how do you maintain this situation where it's like, you're trying to help out people that are in problems, and not all of them are bad people. And of course, it's difficulty, kind of like what he mentioned, because sometimes there's a bit of a culture clash, right? And it's hard to integrate some of these people. However, I would say it's like something that I mentioned before. It's like, why aren't we exporting instead those things that these people seek in those countries, instead of perpetuating more conflict and potential, wars? And instead try to help in that degree. That's what I think, instead of importing, you know what I mean? Which doesn't help anything, because we're not even helping out the citizens, the most vulnerable in our own countries either, which is shocking. You want to carry on with that, mentioning about
I just want to say my thoughts very briefly that like we mentioned, Poland has strict rules regarding immigration, yet I think it was back in around 2004 and onwards that I think about 1 million Polish people went to the UK.
Yeah, I remember that.
Also, regarding immigration, I understand there are genuine refugees from war-torn countries, but on the other hand, there are a lot of immigrants who say they are from war-torn countries, who conveniently lost their passport, but in actuality, they are from countries which have basically shit economies and bad employment, low wages, and these people are they seek better opportunities in life. And some people would argue, okay, well, what's wrong with that? They're people, they want a better life.
Yeah,
but there is a way to do everything, and if it's not legal, if it's not legal, then what do you want, really? You're going to jump the fence.
This is the criticism that they call it economic migration. And don't get me wrong, there are many, we are seeing, people from Asia and South Asia and even South America who come in here legally, and they've got jobs and stuff, because obviously there's more development in certain sectors, like IT and also the tech sector right now.
Yes.
And
there are a lot of skilled people as well, or people who get the skills. It's just a matter of that if a country accepts migrants, like people in need, you need to have things in place for
the
these
right
people.
infrastructure. You need the right infrastructure.
Be it homes, be it jobs, be it anything. They don't even have it for their own countries, let alone for
That's my point.
foreigners coming in.
That's my point.
And-
yeah, exactly.
And sure, you can say, prioritize your own people, but I don't know. It's a tough one. Like, a lot of people would want immigrants, but maybe they wouldn't necessarily want them in their own living room.
Yeah. What's intriguing about all of this is that we have Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, and Emmanuel Macron, obviously, who have announced a one-in, one-out migration deal. This is in light of also recently that small boat migrants crossed the channel on the day of the Starmer-Macron conference, which is quite interesting. And at the same time, Greece has been suspending asylum applications for migrants from North Africa in particular. I guess the argument could be made that there's a lot to be said in relation to this topic, because the Buxadé Report is in part the EU Pact on Migration and Asylum, which is obviously aiming to overhaul how Europe handles asylum seekers and irregular migrants, or in this case illegal immigrants, and also in terms of how to return them, right? How to return them back to their country. And
but like people are not like Amazon products. It's
exactly,
difficult to return them. It's not like, I want a refund on this. But to be honest, before that, we mentioned like the UK and France. I think the UK also had like some agreement. Was it with an African country, maybe Rwanda or something?
Uganda, I think maybe in Uganda or Rwanda. Yeah.
I think it was Rwanda. And that if they catch, let's say, illegal immigrants or something, like, instead of dealing with them, they just ship them off to another country to deal with them. And it's like, are you serious?
It's
I think the UK probably pays the other country to receive these people, and it's like borderlining like human trafficking.
No, it literally is. It literally is. It's
like, what is going on?
Shows you the inhumanity. Now, there is an argument to be said that the potential reason for bringing in or accepting more of these people is due to the Europe's birth rate crisis, which is a reality. The EU births have fallen from 3.67 million in 2023, which is a record low, down 5.4% from 2022. The fertility rate has dropped to 1.38 children per woman, far below the 2.1 replacement level. And first-time mothers' average age now is more or less 30 across the EU. In Italy, it's about more or less 31. And many countries are now joining the ultra-low fertility club at about 1.35, I think, children per woman. This is a long-term trend that shows steady decline since the 1960s, which is now accelerating. And some argue that there's this idea like okay, they're doing this to the replacement theory, right? Our politicians are doing this to replace the population because there's not enough people. The trouble with this is that most of these people are being brought into the capitals, into the major metropolitan areas. First of all, they have tried to put.
That's a big issue.
That's another big issue, because obviously the infrastructure in most of these places, as you mentioned, just can't maintain. So what ends up happening is you have these shanty towns in the capital cities of where these people are living poorly because they're not being taken care of because there's just no space, and it's a total shit show. At the same time, it's not only that the EU birth rate is in record decline. There's also a shortage of workers in low-paid jobs across Europe, and we see that the job market is flushed down the toilet. Youth unemployment rises. Again, there's no focus on trying to repair the problems, within the countries. Instead, it's always more focus on funneling money into external projects like the defense plan and God knows what else, or all these things. And 1 in 7 EU employees, that's about 14.7%, earn low wages. Okay, and as of 2022, it's down from 16.2% in 2018. Youths under 30 are the hardest hit, so more or less 25% of these low wage earners. Also, 17.1% of female versus 12.6% of male workers are low wage. There are certain countries where we see these extremes. In particular, Bulgaria 26.8%, Romania 23.9%, the lowest in Portugal 1.8%, and Sweden 4.1%, Finland 6.5%. The bottom line is this, right? Europe's low-wage sectors struggle to fill jobs because they pay significantly less than average and offer poor conditions. So what this results in is, guess what? Those jobs are being handed over to the desperate. These illegal immigrants or asylum seekers or whatever, because they'll do it because they're trying to find a way to stay and get away, right? So then you obviously have a conflict of interest going on. So this is my point. Like there's like the low wages are part of the problem. The job market is flushed, right? And at the same time, the birth rate is declining too. So it doesn't look like there's many prospects. And instead, it's like the go-to answer is just like, oh, well, you know what? It's okay. We just, it's like you said, it's like Amazon almost. It's like, oh, you ship in people. And I think that's a terrible way of looking at things, because from a humanitarian perspective, it's like what I said. It's like, why aren't we collectively, why doesn't the EU collectively try to export those things? Well, I'll tell you why they can't, because we don't even have those things. They, as you mentioned, they don't even have those things here to help the most vulnerable and the ones who need it. So that's why they don't export it. Because for them, the bottom line is the bottom dollar. They just want to make a quick buck. So it's always like the military, just fast money. That's how it is with these people.
And there's a clash between, let's say, people within Europe, let's say low wage earners, and they say, oh, the other people are stealing their jobs or something. And I understand where they're coming from, because they are low earners, like their own country isn't looking after them. But then again, for example, when immigrants go to these countries, they're expecting a better life, right? Because they're getting a higher wage. But newsflash, everything is way more expensive in these countries. Rent is more expensive.
Exactly.
Food is more expensive. The cost of living is way more expensive. And sure, you can send money home, like if you save, but to save, you're going to live
very badly.
Not comfortably, that's for sure. Yeah.
Quality of life is not good. So my question to all of this is this sustainable? First of all, I think it's pretty obvious that it isn't, and this is part of the reason why now even Starmer and Macron are considering the one in, one out. And now even Germany and other countries are now looking at alternatives for deportation and stuff. And it's just ludicrous. It really is ludicrous, because believe it or not, there are actually good people who came here fleeing from these countries, and qualified people. Like really high skilled qualified people,
and
but
people who
they can't get it
as well.
Yeah. Like, and they can't even get a leg up. They can't like
they're
doctors.
working their asses off, and they can't, let's say,
they can't even
industry in a speciality or something.
And especially in areas which we would actually require, like health, like doctors. But instead they can't be doctors. They can't.
They're like waiters or like toilet cleaners or something, or
assistants
exactly. I mean,
and
it's not just what they can do, but they are skilled people as well.
There are skilled people, and that's the thing. Is like, if there was a proper system put in place, where you could check these things out and everything. But no, it's just like, again, it's wholesale. It's just like, all the same. Okay, well, treating them all the same, and then there you go.
But let's not go that far. Like, aside from immigrants, like people within European countries, like a lot of them have degrees and stuff, and let's not even talk about like whether they can find a job in their field. I mean, what's the point of having degrees if you can't find a job? Sure, you're educated and stuff, but does it help you like get a job
not anymore.
or earn
the
a
job
wage?
market There's no job market because the job market
Exactly.
is
There's
screwed.
like no alignment
No.
in this. Like the demand and supply is completely skewed. There should, like, in my opinion, there should be like apprenticeships whereby if you study something, automatically you go into that field, you have a job, and you use your knowledge to actually advance that field.
Yeah.
Like, why, for example, are you going to study something completely irrelevant when there's not a job for it? Unless you want to do it for fun, or if you want to do it for yourself to better yourself. But if you're doing it in mind to get a job,
in many cases, the cost of
I
these
know,
degrees
man.
is crazy.
I have like 3 degrees, two are like masters, and
there you go. And actually, you need a master's if you really want to get anywhere, because even a bachelor's doesn't do anything nowadays.
yeah, but still, even masters, they don't really care.
Yeah,
because there are other people who don't even have degrees, and they are accepted through other means, like they know someone, like the social aspect of society probably takes them further than any degree ever would. And that is not taught in schools.
This is why you have this thing called the eternal student, because they just keep studying and studying PhD, and they get stuck in that forevermore, like.
Well, we have that in Europe. Like a lot of students are like, do it like till they're 30 or 40 or something. Yeah,
and then they retire. They become a professor or something. What
exactly.
else can you do?
Exactly. You can't find a job, so you become a professor.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the question is like making a distinct. I think we need to start, and most people need to start making distinction between immigration and immigration policy, because there's obviously European immigration within the Schengen borders within Europe, and that already is also a bit of an issue, because there, as we just mentioned, is people are struggling to find work and also quality of life. Then there's obviously the economic migrants who are lumped in within asylum seekers, and obviously these more kind of like illegal immigrants, and I think that needs to be looked at more carefully. There needs to be a better system put in place. Obviously, you're going to always get some bad eggs, criminals across the board.
Yeah,
but I think the great here you have some comments on X in relation to this. This is all Russian here. Who is it? Macron is no friend of the UK. He is actively facilitating illegal immigration across the channel. He threatened to cut off the UK's electricity supply because we dared to leave the EU. He should get the privilege of a state visit. He should be deported.
Well, okay, so what I wanted to mention is that France has a big illegal immigration problem, or they bring in people and they don't know what to do with them. There's I think there's people like living out on the streets, like in different big cities, like Marseille or something, which is on the south, because they come from like North Africa. But then they kind of make their way to Calais, like opposite the UK. And they try to like break in to like these trucks, big trucks which go to the UK to like transport goods and things. And they hang on, they clench on underneath, or they try to open the driver's doors or try to break something.
And that's not okay. That's not okay. That's not good.
It's not a way of doing things.
Yeah.
Because
no, it's not. And this is the problem. And there's just not. The whole immigration has always been just a goddamn mess. I just feel like there's people who should be in that position of like determining the policies who just are completely stupid or incompetent, because they don't understand like how to delegate things or relegate stuff properly. And probably also because there's a lack of also competent people in these departments to deal with this. That's why I'm saying that they're looking at everything in a wholesale perspective and categorizing it all in one. And I wanted to get into the other question is like, why are birth rates in Europe going down? Well, we kind of highlighted it before. Everybody's working their ass off just to pay the bills, just to get through inflation, just every mama, every papa, everyone. And so they
don't. It's way too expensive to have a family. Like
nobody has time.
Can't afford to have kids.
Most people I know, they don't want to have kids because it's like, well, I don't have the money for that investment. It's an investment.
People like until they're 30 or 40, like still live with their parents because they can't afford a house.
Yeah, and that also goes into the next question, right? Yeah. Why is there a lack of low-level workforce? Well, because people don't want to work for peanuts. I know cases of like people having internships for more than 1 year unpaid. It's like, what are you doing? That's crazy.
It kind of makes sense. Like if people are working their asses off and like putting their the time on the line and effort and everything, why do it for free? Why volunteer? Like, you're working so hard. Like, you deserve to be rewarded. You deserve to live from
I'm
a
going to go
skill.
off on a rant. I'm going to go off on a rant here. Right. This is my rant. Like last time.
It's time.
We're technically like the early millennials, aka Xennials, right?
Xennials.
Yeah.
Early 80s.
But either way, our generation was lied to, because our parents' generation, they come from the baby boomers, right? And the thing is, back in that time, you grew up and you were told, like, get good grades, because with good grades, you'll get into a good university. And you go to the good university, you'll get a degree, and you'll find a good job with that. Guess what? That's not how it works anymore. It's a bunch of hooey. It's a bunch of crap. This is why a lot of people are saying, don't even bother wasting money going to university. You're better off actually learning a skill and then investing in yourself and actually developing yourself that way. It doesn't work anymore. That system of the climbing the ladder to get to the point where then you have a good job, then you get promoted, then you get married, or then you can have kids, and then you can buy a house. You can't even buy a house. You can't even rent a broom closet nowadays. What are they thinking? So no, it doesn't work. You can't even save money. They keep saying like that. My father's generation was always like, oh yeah, save. You can't save. There's no way to save money. Have you tried saving? It's not possible, because you're paying out of the wazoo for everything. They're taxing you out of hell. Then they put you into all these misery situations because, for the good of, because of the war. Oh, so now, you're going to have to pay more gas, more electricity, more on products and everything. Gee, thanks. You're basically screwing the common citizen on top of that. And then, unfortunately, this is why there's tensions between, the citizens and then, obviously, these people that are coming in, because then what these bastards do, doesn't matter which side of the aisle, they blame it on either or. And then it's like, again, it's divide and conquer. It's just distraction. Blame it on those and blame it on them. And, that just keeps the whole thing going. The same old bullshit. So, yeah. Doesn't work. The system is rotten. Got to fix the job market first so you can get jobs, all right? So young people can get jobs and they can flourish and they can buy property and then they can do stuff. And then guess what? That's how you fix the birth rate issue, all right? But meanwhile, everyone has a mental health crisis. By the way, nobody's talking about that. The mental health crisis amongst the youth, no, never mind that, because we got more pressing matters, because the magic roundabout of the Ukraine war and the bloody Israel-Gaza war and the other war. What other war are we going to have? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, go back to bed. Anyway.
Right, it's my turn to have a little rant as well.
Go for it.
The job market, I mean, they want you to have experience to get a job. And it's kind of like a catch-22. Like, you need a job to have experience in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you don't expect anybody, you expect someone to know everything from the get-go. Like, are you fucking serious? When you start a job, you always learn stuff on the job. What do they want? Like, people who work for competition?
No, they want you to work for free for 10 years to get that experience.
And they want you to be like between 20 and 30 with like 30 years experience, and like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, absolutely stupid.
Next thing, like the second thing I want to rant on is the cost of living. Have you seen, I mean, you lived in the UK as well at one point, and the kind of things they're renting, like they rent a flat, which is basically a broom closet where you open the front door and it hits the bed.
Can I correct you on something?
It's no longer
no longer the UK. It's everywhere in Europe right now.
I mean, they're renting parking spaces, for fuck's sake, that are more expensive than some places students can afford.
In New York City, for example, there's people living. It's become worse than Tokyo. It's like people living in these what they call mini apartments just to get by,
little
just
boxes.
So you can have. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like they used to.
What have
like
we become?
Hotels, where you just like fit in a bed or something.
We've
like
become
a morgue,
people.
Basically.
We've become pod people. This is a madness. This is why
like
I can't
the
stand.
Matrix, where he wakes up in that sludge.
So what do you expect? You need, quality of life changes mental health. First of all, focus on your citizenry first. Then you can help others. And then guess what? Export those things that you've implemented to your citizenry. Try to, instead of exporting arms and munitions and war, you know, and shady deals, by the way, because that's always involved. Why not export those same things to those other countries that probably need those things and teach them or help implement those infrastructures there? Oh my God, this is not radical, folks. This is not radical
science. We're 8 billion people on the planet. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, find solutions, Jesus.
But you know, the West, Europe, the beacon of democracy, by the way, because that's all that matters, democracy. Phooey to democracy. What has democracy done for us? Nothing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against it, but I'm just saying, what has it done? Because that's all they talk about. Our democracy. Great. That's what people are thinking about when they have to pay the bills. Democracy. Yeah. All right. Anyway, we're going to go for our first break, folks. And then when we come back, we are jumping right into U.S. news.
Sounds good.
So stick around.
We'll be right back.
Be right back.
Yeah.
I want my NTV.
And just like that, we're back.
Welcome back, folks. Hopefully you picked up a beverage or did your business. And we're going straight right into U.S. news. There was from July the 4th to the 7th, the Central Texas flash flood tragedy. At least 121 confirmed fatalities, with over 170 still missing. Predominantly in Clare County near the Guadalupe River. It was an estimated 20 inches, more or less 50 centimeters. Nearly 4 months of rain fell within a few hours, pushing the river up over 3 stories high. It's wild.
That's a lot of rain.
Yeah. The Camp Mystic, a girls' summer camp, was devastated. 27 campers and counselors died. That's very sad. And multiple children remain missing. The camp had emergency plan approved on July the 2nd, but rapid flood onset, no time to evacuate, along with no siren system, hampered preparedness. There was a massive rescue effort, over 2,000 personnel from local, federal, and volunteer teams. Hundreds rescued by boat and airlift. There has been a lot of criticism over the delays in relation to this tragedy. Warnings took hours to issue locally. No alert sirens in place, as mentioned. Historical flood risk known since at least 2019. And the community response has been just holding vigils with emotional tributes. Camp counselors have been praised for their bravery amid all the chaos. I guess this asks a wider issue in relation to what we mentioned before, because we've been seeing, quite a few of these natural disaster tragedies occur, and it's maybe a question in relation to like how prepared and why isn't there preventative measures, especially in relation to historical cases where it is expected that such natural disasters could occur, like flooding or for instance like the wildfires or earthquakes, for instance. Particularly in the United States of America, I would say. The United States of America has, unfortunately, where the government has had a disastrous rescue or relief for natural disasters, dating back already to Hurricane Katrina from 2005. There's also the ongoing crisis with the Flint water crisis, since 2014 and still ongoing. This is an issue of contention. I think, what's his name? That documentarian Michael Moore tried to highlight that at one point. Amongst other things, in Texas, there was the winter storm of 2021, and obviously recently the Los Angeles, Southern California wildfires. That were also very devastating, and they have occurred notably from 2018 to 2020 to this year.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess what can be done more? Just to put some perspective into this very quickly, is that the U.S. spends a considerable amount of money in their defense budget, upwards from $721.5 billion to currently more than $841.4 billion in defense, and yet
it's a hell of a lot of money, like especially compared to any other country in the world.
Yeah. In comparison to estimates in relation to preventative measures for natural disasters, this doesn't obviously non-COVID related in the previous years. We're looking at estimates of like $65 to $75 billion. I think the total of all amounts to more or less 226 to 236 billion for 2020 to 2025 this year. And this obviously excludes state and local contributions and non-federal spending, but it sort of puts into perspective, where priorities lie. And once more, it's like, I get that, you need to invest and finance defense, but there's a degree to it, right? I think defense also functions in relation to how that flows back into the domestic realm in terms of the state and its nation, in relation to preparedness against other threats, not illusory threats of, nation states who are trying to invade or trying to interfere, and the continuous.
It kind of feels like the States is like policing all the other countries, like setting the rules, or there always has to be some sort of enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet, sometimes we find that we create these enemies, and instead we should be helping out to avert from such issues. I mean, Japan is a
There's
very
so much-
good example of how they have a lot more preparedness in relation to, earthquakes and such disasters. And they're very, very quick in terms of the relief and also in terms of repair. It would be good to see that. And it's very tragic that so many people are missing. And that, we here really give our respects to those counselors, to all the people who put their efforts. And it's a very, very, very sad ordeal. And of course, our hearts go out to all the families and people who have lost loved ones. And hopefully, I would say that there would be more work put in from our governing politicians in implementing infrastructures to safeguard the citizenry for future.
Yeah. To be honest, like Japan, okay, they're known for like their earthquakes and also like
tsunamis,
getting prepared for different things. Yeah. I mean, Fukushima was a disaster that happened, but
they recovered very quick. It was a mistake, obviously, and they learned from that, and they followed through with remedying the situation very fast. And I would say
to get young people to go in the area to work, but
my thing is like, why aren't we sometimes trying to learn from other countries and how they resolve problems? And
and very quickly and efficiently as well.
It's a very, very tragic situation. And yes, I know that this occurs all over the place. There was an earthquake also, I think, in Guatemala. 2 people died there. Natural disasters occur. But I think, obviously, in places where they have a history of these issues. I mean, we see this also in Europe with wildfires too, and we're recovering also with the heat wave situation. But also LA, not enough measures are being put into place, I think, especially given the background that such things, like hurricanes in the south of the United States as well. A lot of loss of life and damage that doesn't need to occur.
That's for sure.
But we move back into a topic which we we dedicated our whole stream on Wednesday, but we're not going to stick with it too long because it sort of segues into something else of interest. But we're going into an Epstein rewind here. For those who maybe didn't watch the Wednesday stream, we'll play the recent Trump's reaction to the Epstein case situation during a press conference. If we can, again, we'll play that. We already showed this clip, obviously, on the Wednesday stream, but it's just interesting to note. I think it's time-stamped at the right location.
Yeah.
And just let's play that, and then we'll go into some of this.
Let's have a look at this.
Yeah.
Questions about disgraced late financier Jeffrey Epstein. The fresh scrutiny comes after a new report out of the DOJ and the FBI that found that Epstein had, quote, no client list or any evidence that he blackmailed prominent figures. Listen to the president shut down a reporter when attempting to ask Attorney General Pam Bondi about that memo.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking... We have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things.
He's referring to the floods.
Are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on
I can cut it from there. But anyway, this was kind of a shocking, a bit of a shock and a surprise to most people, because it, one of the things Trump campaigned on, and also those people who he spearheaded into his administration as the FBI director, Kash Patel, and also deputy FBI director, who is Dan Bongino, amongst also Attorney General of the DOJ, Pam Bondi, who was about to speak here, but it's kind of irrelevant what she says, really. Were people who were promoting full transparency and, releasing all the files and everything. And
I just want to say that they keep changing their narrative. Like, on the one hand, they said they had files. On the other hand, they say they don't. And
we got a clip on that too. Like,
kind of feels like they want to cover something up.
Which is just the fact.
If you see that one, the one I highlight, that one, we might have to high speed it. But like, this is in relation to what Edge is just saying.
This is a montage.
This is a montage of basically what he brought up. Just to give some.
Should I try 2-speed?
No, maybe 1.5 is better. I think it's too fast to. But just a good word you used when we last spoke was they try to memory hole stuff. They think that we're dumb and we forget, but we don't forget here, and I'm sure you don't. And this is just a sampling of some of these characters who are now in the administration, and now
I'm just gonna refresh my page. I'll be right back. Okay. Because I think there's something weird.
No problem. Just a sampling of what they previously said. Deputy Director Dan Bongino, previous to that. Also Kash Patel, who's the FBI director, and Pam Bondi, Attorney General. So it's just kind of fascinating how people change their tune. It
is. So let's go for it.
The changing stories on Jeffrey Epstein. Enjoy.
Bill Clinton. Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. That island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
Who killed Jeffrey Epstein?
This doesn't look right. It doesn't look like a
Epstein's an intelligence asset for people in the Middle East, right? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, you sure that? The person, let's say, is like, I'm absolutely sure of that. His plane and that island, the cameras, there's a big assumption out there that these videotapes were exclusively in the custody of Epstein. That's a huge mistake. The reason they wanted this story to go away is because there's an assumption like, oh yeah, Epstein had him. No, he wasn't the only one who had him, according to this source.
The story goes deeper into who's involved.
That's why this blackmail story makes so much sense.
I also want to say that he also mentioned that Epstein was also implicated in like the Middle East or some.
He was an intelligence
agency.
Let's be honest. The guy, his right-hand woman, Ghislaine Maxwell, daughter of an intelligence asset for none other than French intelligence, UK intelligence, and Israeli intelligence, Robert Maxwell. Come on. I mean, this is like, what I just wanted to bring up is that it's fascinating, like how people are all the talk until they get into those positions, and then all of a sudden, mysteriously, the narrative changes. All of a sudden, no, there's really nothing there. There was no client list. We looked at it. Yeah. Okay.
Personally, I'm interested in the blackmail aspect of it and how politics can be controlled. But let's continue watching the video.
A lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama
there is already valid proof about this, because when they even searched the island, there were cases where they found hidden video cameras and things like this. It's like microphones. Come on now.
It was like set up. And to be honest with you, it's not just Epstein who had these videos. was working in the camera room or whatever, or who got the tapes, you know.
Bill Clinton, all intersected past with Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it.
Well, now they're not, because apparently it's too graphic, because they don't want to show us all the pornographic stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Conveniently.
Yeah.
But no one's asking to see that. They just want to see, they want to see the who's who. They want to know.
But if it wasn't their people involved, they would accuse them. They would be like, this thing needs to be exposed and we need to get to the truth of this.
Don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
A lot of phony stuff. How does he know it's phony stuff? I'm just...
Oh, here's the thing. That's why people voted for him. And that's why people backed Trump, because Trump was always part of that world. He ran in those circles. He knew. The difference was that Trump never really got involved, right? He never drank alcohol or took drugs or like participated in these things. He's very very orientated, right? That's one thing you can say about him.
He's like a different type of billionaire in a way.
Right. But he was always very familiar about, he that's why people always say, but he, hanged around with the Clintons. Yeah, of course, because in business, you're going to hang around with these types of people. So
influential people, right?
He was very familiar about a lot of these things. And so I just find it very, disrespectful, not only to his base, but also to just all American citizens, and not only American citizens, but a lot of people, the victims, obviously as well. How he just now poo-poos it by saying just like, oh, you're still talking about it. It's like, yeah, we've been waiting more than 10 years. Been waiting more than 10 years, and not only
still
that,
like no result from all of this thing, and it's like, because we've been waiting for so long, something needs to come out of it.
Yeah,
you don't just dismiss it.
Yeah, and we're not only just talking about blackmailing here. We're talking about like victims at large.
Yeah,
there was a whole operation.
I think that's the biggest issue about this. What about the victims? I mean, are you serious?
This will go down in history, in my opinion, as a massive stain.
Massive blow to Trump.
But no, not only to Trump, but more specifically in terms of the American government, in terms of the United States of America, universally.
And intelligence agencies, because they have to know something. Like there's no
100%.
There is no way they don't know.
Here's the thing that is the striking issue with all of this, is that they were in deep with this. When you have intelligence agencies that make these claims of like, well, we didn't know what was going. No, you know what's going on. These guys. Well, I'm not going to talk about the FBI, but there's another agency, ABC agency in particular, right? And these guys are in bed with everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
People wonder like how Osama bin Laden developed. Well, guess what? Trained by one of these people. Well, not one of these people, by an agency, developed. A lot of these things are. You just cannot trust when the intelligence agencies, they make those bombastic claims of like saying, well,
exactly.
we don't know, you knew, and you were most likely, most definitely complicit in this. So yeah.
Let me play a little bit more, because there's a good part coming.
But I think I would, or at least.
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others. Certainly about the way he died. It'd be interesting to find out what happened there, because that was a weird situation, and the cameras didn't happen to be working, et cetera, et cetera.
I want to talk to you about the Epstein case. I have worked on this for years, trying to get those records of who flew on Epstein's plane and who helped him build this international human trafficking ring.
Absolutely, Senator. Child trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past.
Release the list.
Yeah, so...
Anyway, so you got a little sampling there exposing the hypocrisy. And now, because it just brought up, because Trump even said he's quite interested in how he died. Well, there was the new, coming from
I think
before we put that, just quickly, I think this is worth definitely showcasing here. Also from Voidzilla, aka Coffeezilla, really great YouTuber, by the way. He exposes corruption. The new Epstein footage, which they have released to try to satiate all the mad conspiracy theorists. Well, what I love about what Voidzilla did is that he's kind of broken it down, because this guy, he really gets into the dirty, and we'll play we'll play this back also a bit faster, but it is actually very necessary and informative, just so you know.
The fact that there's a minute of it missing. You're going to want to look at this time, and you'll see in about 3 seconds it will jump and the framing will change. So there you can see there was a cut or some kind of edited footage. And it obviously begs the question, why is there a minute missing from the FBI's prove it tape? But also, what does this tape even prove? As I said, this is not Epstein's cell, nor is this his cell. We're going to show you what that actually looks like. Here's the framing we see. And now we're going to compare that to the official report, June 2023, of Epstein's cell. They lay out a structure of the jail cell and the jail itself. And here you can see it's a 2-leveled system. There's a lower tier, there's an upper tier, and Epstein was in the L tier, okay? Here is where the camera actually was that we're seeing. We're going to go ahead and go through this so you can see that's what it looks like. There's upper floor, lower floor. Epstein was located on the upper floor in what's called the L tier, okay, which is right here. You can see it even better from here. Here's Epstein's cell. Here's the hallway. And right here is the camera, which was not recording. Unlike what Kash Patel sort of insinuates that they're going to release that footage. They don't have that footage. According to them, the recording wasn't working. It was streaming, but not recording. The footage apparently had the DVR system stopped working about 10 days before all of this happened. This is in their own report.
There is no way a jail's camera stops working.
No,
when
it's streaming.
Commits suicide.
Streaming like we are, but it wasn't recording. Maybe they should use. Maybe they should talk to some streamers. Maybe the Office of Correctional Facilities should talk to some streamers. On Twitch or Kick or something like that, so they understand how you can save your streams.
This is messed up.
But the more crucial point that he brings up. Wait, it was coming. Sorry. It's
all right.
That's not me saying that. Around July 29th, I believe, it stopped recording as it was supposed to. Now, here's where you can see what actually was recording the day of. So you can see this is the camera that we have access to, and it's looking this way. So that camera footage we see is not of Epstein's cell at all. You can't see it. Instead, this is the guard station over here, and the staircase is like this little, 3 pixels right there. So it's an actual joke if you think that this footage somehow had a perfect line of sight of Epstein's jail cell, and you couldn't have run an op right, even during the missing 1 minute window.
Wait, they're counting that as footage?
Do you understand now? This is the thing. It's a slither, 3 pixels. You can't see his cell. In fact, what Voidzilla is going to get into...
Counting that as a cell.
Highly recommend checking out this video by Voidzilla, because it's on his channel called Voidzilla, by the way, not CoffeeZilla. But what he points out later is that he breaks down the whole thing, and he looks at the whole thing there was no one in his cell, and no one was allowed out because there was a curfew that cellmates had to be in, I think around 8 p.m. or something. But at one point, you can see from that camera, it's slither some orange, and obviously that's what the inmates wore. So there was some inmate moving around. Was it Epstein? Was it someone else? But you can just denote an orange sliver on that little 3 pixels. And that's what he brings up later down the line.
Doesn't really say anything. It could be
No. It's very
inmate being moved or something.
Well, they shouldn't be moved because they're locked down.
Something is happening. Yeah, people shouldn't be moving.
I mean, let's be honest, Edge. You and me, we weren't born yesterday. Shit stinks.
I don't know what they
shit
expect
stinks.
people to...
If it stinks, if it looks like shit, it stinks like shit.
Is.
Yeah. The reality
especially when it hits the fan, then it goes everywhere.
They want to basically, play this out.
Cover it up.
As if, nothing to see here. Yeah, there's nothing to see here because you can't see anything practically, and you haven't proven anything. And you want us to take your word for it? Yeah, all right. Especially after what you said before. Well, anyway, moving on to the major topic here, it's in relation to Elon Musk, because Elon brought up some points on Joe Rogan relating to this. That was the video you're going to play. because he was very vocal, obviously, as we know. Just to give a bit of a recap, he fell out with Trump over the big beautiful bill because his concern is of the national debt, and he's saying that basically it's worse than what people can even imagine, and it's just going to be terrible for the future generations, and he can never repay it, and that's why he doesn't like the big beautiful bill, because there's nothing in there in terms of regulating it. And so he fell out with Trump. And then he posted, obviously, the infamous meme saying that, well, the reason you're not going to get anything out of the Epstein files, which was kind of like almost predictive in some ways, right? He said the reason you're not going to get anything out of the Epstein files is because Trump's on them. Then he deleted it. But he's actually been very provocative about this recently. So anyway, this is very interesting where he says, Elon Musk, whenever they raided Epstein's place, there would have been like a mountain of evidence. Where's the mountain? The public will be rightfully frustrated if no one's prosecuted. This was in his previous appearance on Joe Rogan.
But yeah, I think the public will be rightly frustrated if no one is prosecuted for the Epstein client list, no one at all,
and no one will.
Which, no one, like at least, I don't know, the top 5 or something, like some number. There should at least be an attempted prosecution of the worst offenders.
Well, particularly if Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail for sex trafficking.
Yes.
Because, trafficking
that means sex trafficking occurred.
Right. So she's in jail for it.
Yes.
So
stop it right there. I have a question for you, Reg. If you've got trafficking, if you're in jail, okay, whatever. Even if you're not in jail, if you're trafficking, because sex trafficking equals to human trafficking. Let's just be honest, okay? Right. What are you doing with those people? You're trafficking them to clients, correct? Like what are you doing? You're just moving people. You're moving people from one place illegally to another, right? For whose interest? Okay. So then there's got to be clients, correct? Right? So if there's clients, then logic. Hold on a second. Got to put this on, just to make sure. If there's clients, then you'd have to expect there's a client list, correct? There's got to be a client list.
Yeah.
But there isn't a client list. So then that means trafficking didn't happen. But then why is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison? Interesting.
And why are intelligence agencies covering this up? Like, whose ass are they covering?
If you ask my opinion, the biggest trafficking organization, I won't mention who it is, but it's an ABC agency. And we know that. But we won't go into that too deeply. Maybe save it for another stream.
Yeah.
No, we can show.
Yeah, how do you put someone in jail and you don't even name the client?
Anyway,
that's how
you just emphasize the point.
Yeah,
and so we can show some tweets that Musk has recently put out in relation to this, because he's been also kind of upset. Well, I don't know if he's been upset, but he's basically, reiterating the kind of like meme type post. What's the time? Because he's basically reflecting the frustration and anger of the people who believed that we would see some change, going in, as we already showed.
Yeah.
So, and also what is of significance with all of this is obviously out of the outcome of this feud, and also with the outcome, this is one of my favorites. We will release the Epstein list. We just need more time. Yeah. The Epstein list is on my desk. There is no Epstein. It's like magic. It's just magic. It just poof. This is the final straw, he says there, you see. What's interesting out of all of this is obviously because out of the feud and everything, he's become frustrated, like most people are, with the uniparty, two-party system, the whole political system in the States. And so his thing is that he announced that he wanted to set up a third party, an America party. And this was in July. He announced the formation of a new political party, prompting significant backlash and market reactions from Wedbush securities analyst Dan Ives, who was a longtime Tesla bull, who criticized Musk's political involvement, urging Tesla's board to establish oversight and limit Musk's time on political activities, citing a nearly 7% drop in Tesla's stock price, erasing $68 billion in market value. And so we can show a bit of what I've said. It's further down in the docket here. But Musk sharply rebuffed Ives on X, telling him to shut up. However, we also have an interesting development too, because meanwhile, Sam Altman, the OpenAI CEO, has declared himself also politically homeless and expressed support for which we're going to discuss, you and me, in a bit, like as a.
How are you feeling about the battle for talent with Mark Zuckerberg?
I don't know. Let's play the Ives clip. That one, yeah, the first one. He's expressed support for a form of techno-capitalism, and he is aligning with Musk's discontent with the two-party system. But we'll discuss that further after we play the clip. So this is Dan Ives here.
This from CNBC.
Welcome back. Tesla shares are on the rebound today after that 7% drop yesterday. Company losing upwards about $70 billion in valuation after Musk announced he's launching the America Party. And that has got one of Wall Street's biggest Tesla bulls on edge. I think that's fair to say. He says it's time for the board to step in and set some ground rules for Musk when it comes to his political ambitions. Wedbush's Dan Ives is the man in question. He joins us now to break it all down. Did you see what Musk tweeted? I'm sure you did. In response to this, he said, "Shut up, Dan." Now, the best part about this is the first thing you suggest here clears a path for a merger with Musk's other company, XAI. Obviously, then some guardrails, oversight on political endeavors. Just elaborate a little bit on why you think it's all necessary.
Look, I mean, this soap opera, I think it's taken on a life of its own. And I think that, look, the board's the only one that could step in to set guardrails. So our whole view is hearing from shareholders the last, 48 hours, patience is wearing thin. There's exhaustion. I think when you look at the three things, I mean, one, we talk about giving 25% voting control. And I think that's important because that would clear the path.
What does he have right now?
So if you look 14%, 15%, but 25% is very important because that would essentially get him to what I ultimately view as a merger with XAI. And I think that's something a lot of investors want to see.
Why is that so important that he could merge with XAI? It sounds like another distraction practically.
Sure, and maybe at first glance, but I think the reality is that would create an AI stalwart. And I think the whole thing here from Musk is to have all of his AI ecosystem under one hood.
To help Tesla specifically, or just, because what I'm trying to understand is XAI important to Tesla having robotaxi dominance, or would you just prefer that Tesla is the company that owns the AI ambitions of any
So
kind?
at the end of the day, it's only about money, right? So, like the stocks. And some Altman one is interesting too.
She did raise a good question, though. Like, is he investing in AI for Tesla or for SpaceX or for anything else? To be honest, I think he's just after the money.
How are you feeling about the battle for talent with Mark Zuckerberg and Meta? Fine. Good. And higher in this market?
I think we have an obviously an incredibly talented team, and I think they really love what they're doing. Obviously, some people will go to different places. There's a lot of excitement, I guess we could say, in the industry, but no, I think we're still fine.
Talk to us about AI regulation. The new Trump bill enables all 50 states to regulate individually. What does that mean for you and other technologies?
I assume we'll figure it out as we go. I don't think anyone knows how this is going to go. One thing I've learned about how regulation works is I have no idea, and neither do any of the supposed experts, but we'll figure it out.
What type of AI regulation would you advocate for that you think would also be fair in terms of competition?
Personally, I think something at the federal level focused on the sort of extreme leading edge of capabilities in a way that makes it easy for smaller companies to do whatever they want to do, but can sort of keep a check on the biggest safety risks. That seems sensible to me, but again, we're not the regulators here.
And how's your relationship with the Trump administration? What kind of talks have you been having with them?
Good. I think they really care about AI infrastructure and building that out and seeing the U.S. succeed here. So it's good.
Mark Zuckerberg, has he started poaching some of your talent?
I have not, but I'm sure I'll see him this week. I'm looking forward
to retain your talent.
Having a great mission and really talented people, and trying to build a great research lab and a great company too.
You made some comments about feeling politically homeless. How do you feel about Elon Musk starting a new political party, and what is your statement?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to read about it. It's like the America Party or something.
What does it mean that you said you feel politically homeless?
Oh, I was a Democrat for a long time, and now I don't generally feel represented by the sort of mainstream Democrats anymore.
Why is that?
I think I said it kind of as clearly as I could. Like, I am a believer in technology and science and economic growth, and sort of, I think that I'm all for offering great services, and I'm all for figuring out ways to make capitalism super inclusive. But I think part of the thing has got to be we drive the country towards very significant economic growth, and I think we should lead the world in that.
There you go.
And I would love a party that.
Yeah. There you go. And I guess this beggars the question, should Elon get more involved, Edge, in politics, you think? Does he stand a chance? If so, would him starting a third party or alternative party truly affect the system that currently stands there? What are your thoughts?
What was the
like,
name? What was
it's
the
called
name
the
of the party that used to make
America
America
Party.
First?
No.
Oh,
That's
just
the
America.
the America versus the Nick Fuentes. No.
Oh, yeah.
There are some of his acolytes or his fanboys. I'm talking about Nick Fuentes, who are trying to now
Yes.
like piggyback on this. Like, oh, Elon's our boy. Oh, they always do this. But no, he just called it the America Party. I think he's calling it the America Party because he's talking about an all-inclusive thing that just represents the United States of America.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, like, in general? What do you think in
Okay.
terms of that? I'm curious.
I think Elon is quite a character to begin with. He's a bit unstable on X and social media in general. I think he's an opportunist. So he takes
Pause right there.
advantage of. Yeah. I'll be right back. Hello. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I was muted. Good Lord. I was muted all this time. Sorry. I apologize, folks. I was just saying
Were you?
that.
Oh,
Yeah, but yeah, now that you're back, yeah, please continue your thought on that.
Just give me 1 sec. I just want to refresh something. If it disconnects me, I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. No worries. Just having some technical difficulties. Cool. Everyone's in sync. I think Edge is frozen. But I wanted to say that what's interesting about this is that we are seeing a precedent now for maybe future tech billionaires who are shifting towards politics, perhaps. And what does this say? Because, Sam Altman is also promoting this idea of techno-capitalism, but all-inclusive. But, in any case, you're back,
Yeah.
Edge. I want to hear your
Great.
thoughts about what
So,
I mentioned before.
I'd just like to speak my opinion on Elon and the whole politics thing. So he's quite a character. He's a bit unpredictable. So he might say one thing and do another for his own interests, even though he claims, he's a billionaire and he doesn't really, it's not really about the money. It's about everything else, because what does a billionaire want, right? Surely he doesn't need more money. The richest person in the world surely doesn't need more money, does he? I mean, he has whatever he can get. He surely doesn't want to stay at that number one spot. Exactly.
Well, he doesn't build it himself, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But I would just like to say a few other things about Elon is that he has many kids, probably over 10 kids. He claims he doesn't have his own house, that he crashes other people's houses. Are you serious? What the fuck? What the fuck, man? Okay. So Elon.
But in terms of his political ambitions, or potentially maybe not entering the political circuit, but enabling an alternative, I would say. Because, that's what he's promoting.
So I think it would be pretty, for example, if he was president, it would be pretty revolutionary in terms of having not just a rich guy, because we've already had a rich guy as president a few times.
Most presidents end up being rich anyway, right?
Yeah. But the thing is, though, is that we know him for Tesla, SpaceX, and now all these AI investments. Yeah. And the world of AI is getting very interesting in that the way humans can use it as a tool to further our knowledge and our understanding of things. So there was knowledge out there, but it might make people find this knowledge better, access it better. And through that, we can develop technology even further.
Yeah.
But I have a very big concern. Something is troubling me lately regarding AI and technology. Because if, for example, we use AI to make better technology, so software to use better hardware through knowledge and everything, there is a risk that, for example, with technology, they talk about quantum computing, and quantum computing through higher AI can crack codes better and do math
Like
better.
AGI and
Yeah.
which is what
But
China
if
is
you-
kind of like moving towards right now.
And okay, there's a worry about like leaks and passwords and stuff. But what if somebody develops a program to like circumvent passwords and go through the back end of programming to
I think
hack
that's
into things?
more than likely.
But I would hope that AI would also facilitate humans into developing better softwares for
Mhm.
protection and not just for hacking. But I know that throughout history, when there is a door, let's say a username and a password, people always find a way through.
Backdoor.
It's the same with like music and MP3s and downloading. Like they can't stop it.
Right.
But regarding Elon himself,
I mean, talking about like the political future that we see, the foreseeable future right now, because I also mentioned just like when you were away, like there seems to be this precedent now, and I think Trump set the precedent, being to some degree showing that you don't need to have somebody who is politically trained, right? We're seeing this more and more.
he was
But
a
now,
businessman. He wasn't a politician.
right. But now he opened the gateway, let's say, right now, and now you're getting all sorts. But there does seem to be now a precedent that potential future tech billionaires. I mean, you rightfully talked about AI right now, but because AI is at the forefront of almost every tech right now. Let's be honest. But these tech billionaires, right? They seem to be pushing towards, maybe a new ideological political shift or something like this. And I don't know,
like utopia type thing.
I don't know if it's utopic. I mean, but it just seems that, as we mentioned before, like, the term of democracy or this neoliberal or whatever democracy concept, it's just not flying anymore with most people. The buzzword is dying. And, how democratic is these democracies that we live in today? Let's be honest. And what is the case to be made right now for people like Musk pushing for the America Party, or even Sam Altman pushing for a techno capitalism, which is all you know what I mean? This is what I'm intrigued by.
Yeah, let me pause you right there. So Trump, okay, like as far as I know, like before his first term, when he was elected, he was how can I call it?
Real estate guy.
No. Well, I know what Trump is, but no, it's just that he was very controversial. This is what I want to say, and he was on the front of every single newspaper, every single magazine, every single website, and if you didn't like him or not, he was on the front of every cover. And he was out there. He was prominent. He was the face of everything.
I mean, he in his own right, Trump is an expert in marketing. Let's be honest. Like, whether you love him or hate him, like he knows how to work it, basically.
And also, like Elon now, like him or hate him, he's been in the news a hell of a lot lately. Like
he kind of
no way
runs it.
to not see him everywhere.
He kind of runs it in some cases, because X is now like the top. I've seen it, the statistics, like X.com, aka Twitter, right, is the top like app for news in a lot of countries. Like this is where a lot of countries are getting their information and news sources from. And so kind of, honest, he runs it in some ways.
And there's no way to see X without seeing Elon's face.
His post, right? Every time we log
like
there,
X is personified. It's Elon.
But also, I don't know if you like when you log on to X, I'm always getting notifications, and it's like Elon's posted. Elon's posted.
His posts are always at the top. Like I don't know if it's like if he's probably not promoting his own posts, but they're probably putting them up there.
I mean, he has the biggest
obviously
pull. So, but
I think everybody's like on social media and on their phones. Okay, so he's putting himself out there. I don't know, to be honest, if it's good or not.
I think time will tell, right? Like, but I see kind of like this precedent being set in some ways. Like, we're going to probably see a lot more of this shift, because we see so much of these tech giants, Bezos, Zuckerberg, and they're all kind of involved in very similar things, whether it's AI, space, exploration, And they're cozying up a lot with government and also military for that matter. So which we already know that they've had some correlation to for a while.
Well, and I just want to say that it's not completely unrealistic for people from other industries to be in politics. I mean, you get Ronald Reagan and also
so that was the inspiration for Trump,
and also Zelensky, who are like comedians, right?
Yeah, well, people forget. Yeah, he was a comedian. Yeah. Right, exactly. Well, and then here's another thing: is the Epstein case our generation's JFK assassination? Is there no going back, for Trump and the traditional political parties in relation to this case, or will we see no change in this? And actually, what is the trajectory now of his legacy, Trump's legacy? At the same time, what is the trajectory of Elon's path, which we kind of already discussed? I have my view about this, but feel free. Like, what do you think?
Well, I can only hope that if he was, let's say, president, I would only hope that it would improve technology towards the best. Like, I don't want to see things in a negative light. It's like a double-edged sword. So, depending on how you see it, it's going to be positive in one way, but detrimental in another. You can't have the good without the bad, in a way.
The trouble is, Trump sold his campaign on the promise of draining the swamp, and we've reported this at length, and we will still. And one of my issues of contention continuously with particularly the United States foreign policy, and I think most people know this by now, is the obvious fact, even though they try to deny it or deflect from it, is the military-industrial complex, right? And this is something that's so ingrained right now, because we have this whole thing you have to be a patriot, and you have to, you need to respect our troops, and you have to, and don't get me wrong, obviously, there's no disrespect to troops or people who serve in the military. But that is really ingrained in the United States, social consciousness. This whole thing is thank you for your service. Automatically, they say no one else does that anywhere else. No one else does that anywhere else, right, in the world, except for in the United States.
Well,
and this is coming. This is coming to Europe.
That's for sure.
Yeah, but this is coming to Europe soon, right? And it makes me wonder, as you said, you would hope for the best because of the technology and stuff, but how much of that, as we see already now, and we're going to release more information about this in next week, are we seeing technology actually already, this AI, robotics, everything, even to the space exploration, because this is all gearing towards weaponization.
It's kind of linked. Yeah. I mean, the NASA scientists were, the German scientists were separated between the Soviets and the USA, and a lot of them went into NASA. So what worries me is the military aspect of this. I mean, I was reading a week ago or something that I don't know, around 2030, Elon or something said something that every household would have a robot in their house. I mean, I already have one of those vacuum cleaners in my house, the round ones that go around that have some sort of AI to detect things in radars. But what if there are dogs or people used? The first step would be having a robot humanoid type thing to wash the dishes, clean your house, or something flying to get the cobwebs out like a drone. But what if instead of sending people into wars, they send robots or dogs or fast things that get into buildings and eliminate everything and destroy things with lasers or guns and ammo?
This is literally a page out of Terminator. Judgment Day, because isn't that it? They use the robots to fight. Yeah. And, I mean, that's literally it.
To be honest, the first step might be for things like RoboCop. RoboCop, it was actually to enhance a human being. So for example, there might be a disabled person who might have one leg. So they add a leg, and so a person can walk. So it's for our benefit. That's how they're going to sell it to us. It's for the benefit of everything, and everybody will get on board with it. However, they are going to be bad things where not only people are going to have prosthetics, but they're going to be separate robots, like destroying everything. Maybe
I don't
not
know.
now, 50 years, 100 years. Drones are out.
I don't know really if like tech billionaires are the answer to our political future, but anyhow, let's get into world news before we take another break. I think we might have to push it after. We might have to push a bit further than our regular time allotment where we end because we have still a bit of stuff to cover. But in world news, here we go, round the merry-go-round, folks. Are you ready for this one?
What have we not heard before?
This is in relation to the escalation of the conflict with Israel in Palestine and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. So conflict update, at least 82 civilians killed in recent Israeli airstrikes on Gaza, according to local sources. Simultaneously, Yemeni militants, believed to be Houthis, fired rockets toward an Israeli airport, the Ben Gurion airport, escalating regional tensions. The rocket attack occurred as Israel conducted a rescue mission to recover a hijacked ship crew in the Red Sea region. We got some footage of the Houthi ballistic missiles targeting Ben Gurion airport. This was the day after a fierce Iran warning, by the way, to Israel.
Israeli army says that it has intercepted a missile launch from Yemen days after carrying out strikes on Houthi rebel targets in the country.
But in more unfortunate, despairing news, Israel plans a huge camp in southern Gaza. The Israeli defense minister plans to move Gaza's population to a camp in Rafah. This has been likened by many critics, those from other countries, obviously officials, to a form of concentration camp. But yes, apparently the Israeli defense minister Katz is planning to move Gaza's population to a camp in Rafah. This is, I don't know what to say because,
what can we say that we haven't said before? I mean, it's just like again and again and again, this whole
But
thing.
this is even just more despairing because, could you guys be a bit more quiet? God damn it. Guys in the background.
Hey!
If maybe we can play this BBC News clip here, but like before you do so, this is more despairing just because it's like, what are you doing? Like, what the hell, man?
What are they gonna get out of this?
What are we doing here? Like, why are we moving Gazans, Palestinians now into a camp? Like, what the, like, the thing that got me, I'm sorry to say, like, and again, like we're not trying to take sides here, because for us, it's like every human life counts, by the way. Regardless.
And there are innocents caught up in this, to be honest. Like it's not
on both sides, 100%.
And there are
100%.
people who don't want to fight, but are kind of caught up in this war and stuff.
But the thing is, we talked about this in another stream where we actually have a clip about it, where it was Louis Theroux's The Settlers. He had stopped. He's basically was a documentarian for the BBC a long time ago. Had a lot of interesting documentaries, and he's now got a podcast on YouTube. And he hadn't released a documentary until recently, which was kind of like a revisitation of one of his previous ones many years ago, which was looking at these, ultra ethno-nationalistic Israeli settlers who were settling there and trying to push out people from the West Bank.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but this is... now with this news about, moving Gaza's population to a camp, I mean, this is kind of crazy. And, this is not just like some harebrained thing that we're making up. This is literally like what the Israeli defense minister is saying.
How it is.
And I just don't know why people, well, there are people obviously stating this, and we'll show you the clip in a second, but this is I find this just crazy. Like how how are you taking an entire population and trying to move them into, I mean, literally it is kind of like a concentration camp in some ways. It's kind of sickening. Like
And
you're
it should be the thing that they're the most
uprooting them.
against. Yeah.
You're uprooting these people from like homes where they've been for like years or even generations. Like
But
what
we're
are you
talking
doing?
about people here. We're talking.
But yeah, let's play a bit of this clip and react to it, I guess.
For the next few minutes, because in Washington, Donald Trump is hosting Benjamin Netanyahu. The Israeli Prime Minister has today been meeting the US Vice President J.D. Vance. He'll later go on to hold talks with the House Speaker Mike Johnson. We think that's in the next hour or so. Well, last night, President Trump said Hamas appears willing to agree to a ceasefire and that, quote, things are going very well. Well, in Israel itself, there have been fresh indications of what Benjamin Netanyahu and his government is planning for what comes after the war. Israel's defense minister says he's asked the military to prepare a plan to move all Palestinians in Gaza to a camp in the southern city of Rafah. Israel Katz wants to establish what he describes as, quote, a humanitarian city to initially house about 600,000 Palestinians and eventually the entire population of 2.1 million.
They just want to get rid of everyone.
We are living in Orwellian times. We've already mentioned like how people use the democracy word nowadays and whatever, but like humanitarian city, what are you talking about?
In this day and age, we're talking about camps.
When is a camp or even a shanty town a humanitarian city? Like even the favelas in Brazil, they're not humanitarian. It's out of desperation, and then
you're not doing these people any favors.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that people can actually just accept this. This is Orwellian talk. This is what newspeak, right? Humanitarian cities,
and it keeps going on, and they talk about like areas and stuff. I mean,
who's this? This is the UN, of course. Yeah, but nobody listens to the UN. They're impotent. The problem is the UN is made, right, to have a unilateral, like, say in terms of like humanitarian affairs and things like this. But it's just impotent at this stage. Like, they'll say something, they'll declare like this is, against human rights or whatever, but then nothing comes of it. So it's like we have all these, these political or legal and humanitarian entities, but nothing ever comes from this. It's purposeless. It's kind of like the point of NATO as well. Like the point of NATO was, essentially to combat the threat of the Warsaw Pact and the potential of the Soviets, right? Because they were the evil villains. But now, like NATO, what is NATO doing? It's kind of Clare Daly was talking about that. Like, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what else more to say, but what is the outcome of this?
Everyone's comments like basically say it all, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
can you read some out? I can't really see there.
All right, so I'm going to read like just a few out. So one of them, the top one, says they concentrate them in a camp. I wonder where they got that idea. Somebody else
say
says
that because the moment you say that, then you get stigmatized and attacked for being, and the point is here.
Humanitarian camps. Remember certain government calling camps something similar during the 40s, or
to be honest, they were created by the British originally and used in South Africa long ago.
And also like another comment, forced displacement is illegal under international law. You can't just move people like from one place to another.
That's what I'm saying, uprooting people from their homes. I mean, I understand that people look. Nobody here is in support of Hamas or any aggression or violence against any other human being, right? But this is not the solution. This is insanity, and I don't know what the outcome would be out of this. But I don't see this playing into more cohesion or stability in the region. This just seems to be like the continuous theater. And then Iran is going to bark. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say Iran. the Iranian regime is going to bark more, and then the Israelis are going to, then instigate, and then back and forth, and here we go, the merry-go-round. Nothing ever changes, really. Like, where is the voice of reason here? I don't understand. Where's the voice of humanity? I have no idea, but it just feels like a lot of these people, they don't care. They really don't care. They don't care about
It's a
their
shame,
people,
really.
and they don't care about other people. Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. But I don't know. I don't even know what to make of this, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, what will come from this? So just more misery, unfortunately.
I mean, for everyone watching, like, just imagine being a person in Gaza or something, being put in a camp, and then what?
The funny thing is,
like a prison.
Tell this to like all those Americans who are very critical of the government, how they, like, a lot of people, and they've always been like alerting, like, the FEMA camps, they want to put us in FEMA camps. Like, maybe bring that up to them, and see what they think, because they will probably say, like, yeah, that sucks, that's crazy, like that's equivalent to like what they've been freaking out about for
It's the same thing.
You can't do that, and that's wrong. And there needs to be more of an international not only criticism, but
something needs to be done about this. Like, the UN is doing fuck all about it as usual. Like, they don't do.
Well, they can't do anything because nobody listens to the UN. It's like, we've seen that even in the first Iraq war, where the UN said, like, no, and then, like, who cares? Bush just steamrolled right in, like that.
All they have is the power to, like, get money from UNICEF cards and put it in their pockets, and that's it.
I think we'll take one last break before we wrap up with we have other news and then our React segment. And yeah, we are probably going to go a little bit over our time, but it's okay. I think it's
fine.
Yeah, have another little break.
So as always, we're streaming simultaneously on YouTube, on Rumble, and on Kick, and our socials are on Discord, YouTube, and X.
Yeah. Discord is our communities. Join up whilst you still can. And let your voice be heard, because we listen to everybody there, as long as it's reasonable and civilized, of course.
Obviously. I mean, what else would it be?
The other news are going to cover will be interesting stuff in relation to Amazon, NVIDIA, and Bitcoin, as well as our React segment, which we usually wrap up with to sort of lighten the mood. And so stay tuned.
I'm actually very interested in talking about like crypto and technology and stuff like that.
We'll have some more on that, in time. But stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
I want my
we're back. And Edge is here.
Just like that, we're back again. Yeah, for the final segment of our live stream.
Yeah.
We stream simultaneously on YouTube, Rumble, and on Kick. And our socials are X,
Join there if you can.
Instagram, and Discord.
That's our community.
Right.
Join the Discord. Join the Discord. Join the Discord.
Join the Discord.
You can always find the links in the description. We'll always post the links also in the chat. So yeah, in other news, right into it. OpenAI strikes a deal with military contractors. This is kind of what we were kind of talking about, our fears. But yeah, OpenAI strikes. Yeah, they strike a deal with a military contractor to provide AI for attack drones. Well, there you go, folks. I mean, yeah, we have a AI video coming out where we kind of also develop on that, where it's being implemented in military. From
By the way,
Sweden to China.
if I remember correctly, this story was shared by a person in our community on Discord.
Yes, Neon. Yeah, thanks, Neon. Was Neon correct, or am I getting that wrong? I think it was. Or no, it was Taurus. It was Taurus. Thanks, Taurus, for the shout out to Taurus, also a mod in our Discord.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. What does that say? I mean, the military always has to get its grubby hands in every aspect. And also, what's interesting about this is that most technology, by the way, believe it or not, it starts off from the military before it gets released publicly, like mobile phones, the internet,
cars, planes, everything.
Yeah. GPS,
probably TVs, the internet.
Yeah, the internet was originally being used by the military in some fashion prior to it becoming publicly commercialized.
Right?
Yeah,
and probably cell phones as well.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know what that I don't know. For me, it's kind of leading into what you were saying, where we're just going to have robots pitted against robots, robot wars. And
if only it was that simple and people wouldn't be caught up in this. I mean,
yeah,
what we should do is put like world leaders like fighting in a cage or something. I don't know.
To be honest, that would like, you don't remember Celebrity Deathmatch? Anybody remember Celebrity Deathmatch from MTV?
From the 90s.
In the 90s. We should have political deathmatch. Let's put these politicians in a deathmatch cage. You know, have Joe Rogan, you know, like the MMA fights where he's just like, what do you call
like a referee, right?
Yeah, he's not spectating. He's
presenting it.
Presenting it. Yeah. That would be the next step, I think. Anyway, you were mentioning Bitcoin. You want to lead into this one?
Huge thing. I mean, Bitcoin is the most famous crypto. Like it probably all started from there.
Yeah.
And nobody really knows who made Bitcoin. I mean, it's a person with a pseudonym, Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows who this person is, but they hold like wallets of like billions of worth of Bitcoin, which haven't moved like since the beginning.
Yeah.
And lately it's just been increasing in price and value. And it reached another all-time high, or ATH as it's abbreviated.
Yeah.
So BTC or Bitcoin has skyrocketed, and I guess the sky's the limit. I mean, who knows how much it's going to be worth in 5, 10, 20, 50 years.
But right now is not the time to buy in, because what goes up will inevitably come down again. And when it does come down is when
What if it keeps going up? Like long term. I mean, it's very volatile compared to other things.
But we've seen it like go up and we've seen it go up and down. I'm just saying, like, if you want to buy in, you're gonna have to wait maybe a while because you're gonna have to wait for it to come back down, and then you can buy.
I would argue that 15 years ago, somebody spent, I think it was 10,000 Bitcoin on a pizza or two.
Yeah,
which is now worth like tens of billions.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean,
who knows? Who knows where it's going to go?
The funny thing is, a lot of people who didn't take this seriously originally and who lost their wallets are now kicking themselves, you know, because they're like, "Oh my god, I invested in this way back then, and now they're probably they could be billionaires."
Somebody was looking for their password in a hard drive, like in a huge landfill. I think it was in Wales.
Oh God. No.
But kind of gave, or the court like told them they weren't allowed. But yeah, we can't give financial advice, but it's pretty interesting how it's going.
It's good news for those who are invested
Yeah.
in Bitcoin, I guess, because it's going up right now. So, yeah, the
And
sky's
it's an
the limit.
alternative to the like mainstream banking system as well.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot more development in that realm, and now even with Web3 coming out.
Yeah.
We will actually touch upon this a lot more down the line, because actually we have some people we know, and certain experts in this arena, because we actually want to expand more in terms of the finance and the crypto economics. I'm
like
no expert at all in
the software of Bitcoin. Well, the blockchain is a ledger, so it's basically like a big diary of all the transactions that are in there.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever holds Bitcoin, well, there are many people around the world who are like mining and doing calculations, and all of this, let's say, records and everything are stored, so they're never going to be lost.
Yeah,
and it's not controlled by anyone supposedly. So,
but it's still very safe, which is why they refer to it as a stable coin, because it's like in comparison to other more volatile or they call them meme coins or shit coins, they're very risky, and whereas with Bitcoin, it's a stable coin, so you can rely on it. Even if it goes down, it will eventually go back up again.
And if I'm not mistaken, there's like all the Bitcoin in the world are like worth at least like $1 trillion at the moment. So it's
crazy,
pretty steady.
That's the future, I guess. In other news, we have some information. NVIDIA. We'll explain to those who are maybe more boomer and don't know what it is.
Right. I want to explain.
Okay, you can, but let me just first say it nears $4 trillion in valuation, which it basically surpasses Apple's record. It's become the world's most valuable company in history. So that's, hear me out, $4 trillion. That's more than most countries' GDP. But yeah, you can give an overview.
They could probably buy a country.
You can give the overview in terms of for the boomers out there, what NVIDIA and why it's so important.
Okay, so NVIDIA. NVIDIA is a company like most famous for making graphic cards. Now, when somebody goes to buy a computer, when somebody goes to buy a computer, if it's not, let's say, for running a business, like might run on Linux or an old version of Windows, to be honest, aside from Windows computers and also Apple computers, they have like different components, and one of the main components is the graphic card. Now, in the past, like the most crucial component was like the CPU, which is like the brain of the computer with the motherboard. But over time, like through gamers, interestingly enough, the component that is like even more important than the CPU. I mean, you need like components to fit together.
But like you need RAM and memory, you need all of that, right? It's
exactly. But like lately, whoever wanted to even mine crypto, like to do the calculations or even to game, the most expensive component in a PC would be the graphic card. And it would cost, let's say, at least like half the amount of a PC. So you'd spend like $500 or $1,000 on a computer, and half of that worth would be the graphic card component.
Right.
And
and actually, this has also a lot to do because of the evolution of video gaming, because obviously with the progress and advancement of the game engines, right, to make to make things more realistic and more complex, in terms of the game world and the game dynamics. So
now everything is like hyper realistic. And from what I know is that if you're a gamer or if you want a high-end PC, you either get one with an Intel CPU with an NVIDIA graphic card, even though Intel is kind of like decreasing over time, or you would get, let's say, one that
I remember still Intel inside.
Exactly.
A lot of memes made from that.
Intel's main competitor is AMD. which offers like cheaper solutions, but it gets hotter and stuff. However, most people would pair AMD with ATI. However, over time, like AMD bought out ATI, so now it's AMD cards.
Okay.
So NVIDIA's main competitor is AMD,
right?
And they both offer very expensive options. So like $500 upwards, like for a graphic card.
Yeah.
And over time, NVIDIA is like on the stock exchange and everything, and has been like one of the top 5, if not 3 biggest players of the stock exchange. Like if you kind of ignore the GameStop like whole and what is it, AMC, the cinemas in the States, like the video companies. Aside from that phase, like NVIDIA is a huge player on the stock exchange, like massive, and especially with the shortage of silicon chips, because all of these things are like produced in like Taiwan and stuff,
and China. Because we're getting this is the whole thing where Trump was very proud because and also Biden previously, because they had made deals where the chips, and we even talked about the potential tariff war at the beginning, and how this would affect, because you need these chips, right? You need these chips for everything.
Absolutely.
Particularly in the military too, is if they're going to like shift more towards AI.
And I'd just like to say that Trump knows all about chips, like from his casinos. But that's like,
we're not talking about.
I'm joking now.
We're not. Oh, okay. I was going to say we're not talking about Pringles, folks.
But like regarding silicone chips, there was a risk like of China, because if they took over Taiwan, there's always that threat that China would take over Taiwan.
They have the whole monopoly.
Then China would secure the whole industry for silicon chips around the world, which power every single electronic like equipment that we have.
Crazy.
And everybody would be kind of at their mercy.
Because you need them for almost everything now, like literally everything. Yeah.
From cars to fridges to phones to headphones to everything.
I'm not sure if you mentioned this as well, but like what's interesting about NVIDIA, and I guess also what has helped in their dominance right now, like is that they've been critical for AI training. Their chips, you would say, I guess, with the massive demand from tech giants, like Sam Altman, Elon Musk, etc.
So in the last 2 years, what I'd like to state is that, like I said, NVIDIA is known for their graphic cards. However, in the last 2 years, especially to shareholders, is that they have like a huge change in their position. And they kind of like rebrand themselves. So like instead of like making graphic cards for video games, their main thing now that they stated is that they focus on AI.
Like a lot
which
of people
is a huge change. I mean, they are like the biggest player in graphic cards, but them like stepping up and saying we're doing like AI and that is our main business model now. It's insane. Like they definitely know something that we don't.
Well, I mean, that's so. Just to give a breakdown of the financial surge in terms of NVIDIA, in the first quarter of 2024, their revenue was $26 billion, up from $7.2 billion, with a stock up 215% in a year. And their market influence currently holds 7.4% of the S&P 500, which is what Edge was just earlier mentioning, and replaced Intel in the Dow. So fascinating stuff. So whoever has stock in NVIDIA, good for you, I guess.
I was thinking of like investing in it ages ago, but I don't invest in anything because I don't have the money to invest.
Yeah, we're still just trying.
Money to invest. I don't have it.
We're still trying to make a buck over here. So,
like to make money, you need money, and
true. That's what they don't teach you. They don't tell you, folks. You need to make money. You need to have money, but you need to make your money work for you. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Moving on into some other another kind of tech
Jeff
related
Bezos got married lately, didn't he?
He did, and he sent her up into supposedly the stratosphere for a marketing PR stunt, for Blue Origin. But
to be honest, their wedding seems like a business type thing.
I mean, let's be honest. What isn't? I mean,
like
it's like celebrity weddings. You know what I mean? Like. Although, you know what? Actually, we have no idea. Let's be honest. Maybe he actually, maybe,
Okay.
you know, we don't want to
Maybe
really
it's their taste.
That's
what they're into.
Someone's laughing in the background here.
The
Like
fetish,
I
this kind of
don't
thing.
want to have any. Don't want to attack someone for their choice of whatever. So just to clarify. So all the best to them. So Amazon rolls out new autonomous robots in the UK and accelerates full automation. I mean, you've been, for any of you out there who have been going to the McDonald's and you've noticed that, okay, now it's like I have to like use the machine and stuff, and
instead of like taking your order from a person. Yeah.
Right. Now Amazon is rolling out robots. So there goes those jobs.
So whoever was working for Amazon in the warehouses is basically fucked.
Oh, that's good. Well, at least in the UK for now, but like how long before that's rolled out across the board,
And Amazon is super popular in the UK. Like you order well, at least it was. You ordered something, you would get it the same day or the next day.
Exactly. But here's an interesting thing, right? Because I have a quibble with Amazon because I've had to order a lot of stuff from Amazon, especially in like developing stuff in relation to NTV and things like this. We had to order a lot of things.
Who hasn't ordered from Amazon? Like everyone has.
But you know what? Amazon's customer service has faced a lot of criticism, with key stats showing a decline. For instance, satisfaction drop to survey reported since 2022, a fall to 79% from 88% a decade ago. There's been issues, you see, with and I've experienced them directly, and who hasn't? I recall the time when Amazon was actually really good. Like you'd get the product you expect.
Yes.
But now,
at the beginning, right? Like books and stuff.
Right. But now there's been counterfeit problems. About $1 billion spent in 2022 to fight counterfeits, yet complaints about third-party seller quality persists because there's a lot of third-party sellers. When you buy something that is clothing or something,
absolutely,
you're expecting it's coming from a quality manufacturer. But then guess what? And we reported about this too. Remember, not too long ago, it's all coming from China, and unfortunately,
it's pretty shocking because Amazon is just the middleman, like getting a cut from it. They're not actually, pushing the products. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of like buying something off eBay in a way.
It's in my view, and I'm just speaking from personal experience.
I mean, they do take responsibility in a way.
To some extent, they try to. But the problem is, it's like I like you probably. I remember how Amazon was in the early days, and then how it is now. And I have to say, like, it really looks like it's gone down the tubes. Like, you have to like search for such a long time before you can find something that you actually like. Looking at the reviews is complicated, and then everything, and it's like, is this a quality product or isn't it? And then sometimes you get it and you have to return it because it's just or it falls apart or it's crap. It's like
I have that issue. Like
they lose the package or it doesn't arrive.
That's the worst thing, when something goes wrong and you don't know who to contact, and or then like you get in touch with a bot online and it has like some automated answers, and then it shuts on you, and then you have to refresh the page and
it's annoying
and say what you want and press the buttons.
It has like specific things that you have to select. But you know what I do? I just continuously
typing, I want a real person, customer service representative, something again and again, and they ask you again, what do you want?
What I do, and it happened recently, is with a product that supposedly was delivered, wasn't delivered. I don't know where the hell they put it. And I was sick and tired of waiting for it. It was already delayed. I just bombarded their email, their contact email, and I bombarded it with a lot of angry emails. I was
I'm surprised you found it, to be honest.
You can find it. There is a way that you can still email them. You can still email them directly if you don't want to use the chat bot. It's just that you have to email. But order the Amazon, very bad service. I mean, that's the problem. The quality. This is the problem. The bigger you get, right? And this is what they all say, like Jeff Bezos. And by the way, Amazon owns Twitch too, and they're suffering a lot of problems as well. But the bigger you get with anything, I think you should stay in your lane. In my view, I get why you want to expand your portfolio and generate more income. But the thing is, the bigger you get, it becomes more bloated. It becomes more problematic. This is like, it's just logical.
Empires.
Yeah, they're never fulfilled because they eventually collapse. It's just unsustainable, right? It's too big.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
So
even in the UK, like Amazon had their own vans, like with the Amazon logo on the side, until they had so many customers that a lot of van drivers were like third-party van drivers in white vans that they would rent from places.
But this is still going. This is still going. Like it's.
And if anything goes wrong, then
you're damned.
They can't really control.
Yeah, you're damned if you do,
Yeah.
damned if you don't. Like you just pray to God that your package arrives, and it's actually the thing that you originally ordered, and sometimes it's not. And yeah, so there's been a declining satisfaction, delivery delays, counterfeit goods, inconsistent support reflects the challenges from Amazon's scale and third-party reliance. But we've become dependent on it because this is what happens, and this is my fear also with AI and the automation of things. We're going to become dependent on that, and then we're not going to know how to do things for ourselves. It's going to be ridiculous. So the time will tell. I don't know. I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing. I think a lot of people will be out of the job.
Yeah.
And there you go with the whole low-wage workforce thing all over again. Anyway, let's let's wind down with our React segment. We have a few things to react to. Now, this one's not necessarily a video, but I wanted Edge's take on this because I just found out about it the other day, which I was like, we can play a bit of a video but it was just
What
like,
is it?
did you know that Trump has a podcast now? And this is to promote his administration and himself.
Shut up. No, that's not true. That's not true.
Yeah,
what is he going to be on? Like every week?
It's called. No, he's not on. Like his dude. It's called Pod Force One. Check it out. Let's show to the listeners and the viewers here.
Serious?
You have to check it. So if you want to look this up on YouTube, it's called Pod Force One, and it's.
I just want to tell the viewers that this is the first time I'm watching this. Like even though we prepare things, I haven't seen this before.
Pod Force One with Miranda Devine. Can you click the info to see what it says there?
Who is she?
Well, she's the host of the Power, Politics, and the People Behind the Headlines. Every week, award-winning New York Post columnist Miranda Devine sits down for exclusive and candid conversations with the most influential disruptors in Washington, lawmakers, newsmakers.
Has she changed her name to Divine? Like Divine?
No, I think that's her. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's her name. But the thing is, what most people don't recognize with this is that this seemingly comes across just like, oh, it's just a podcast, right? It's like someone developing a podcast. No, this, I don't know. Like, is this propaganda or transparency? Like, have a look. Like one of the recent, if you click videos, I guess, one of the recent chief of staff
23 hours ago. Shall we see the comments and stuff?
Yeah. This is the recent.
The way the 20 election.
Just so people know, this is the chief of staff of Trump. This is.
Oh, there aren't any comments.
Yeah, no, they lock them out because it's like they. This is like, for instance, so if you look at like the back catalog, you'll see that the chief of staff is Susie Wiles, and obviously she now they're putting out like the fallout because of the Epstein client list, but
like to patch stuff up.
But there you go. Also, like she's had Trump on and stuff. So this is I don't know, like this is kind of like propaganda in a way. Right, because they're telling you how it is, right? Like, oh, and it's all very curated,
Do you reckon it's so they don't keep bombarding Trump with the same questions all the time, so that they have somebody else to answer?
I didn't even know about this until it popped up by or somewhere. I think someone reacted to it. And just to let people know, the New York Post is one of the most historical, landmark American. Periodicals, editorials for news. However, in recent times, the New York
part
Post,
of that because
she used to work. She used to work for them, but the New York Post has recently aligned itself a lot with the MAGA base and Trump because it does kind of lean to the right. So it is no surprise that she has a background in from the New York Post. I do not believe they are affiliated whatsoever with this.
Let's have a look. I'm just looking at the New York Post. And there's a link right at the top
to Pod Force One.
Yeah, I mean, the logos are the same. I mean, it might help that she worked there.
I don't
And
know
we
if they were
can't-
affiliated. I
Hang on,
wasn't.
but
Yeah.
see, the
Oh
logos
man.
are kind of the same.
Oh man. New exclusive interview with. Maybe this is some sort of like what do you call, like a free, like an alliance type thing. But definitely you can tell that. I mean, maybe it's not directly, you know. Because
Yeah, maybe they're just like promoting
but
her.
no. I mean, maybe it's not directly tied with the White House, but it seems a
Kind of
bit
seems
sus.
like it.
Seems very
let's face
sus.
it.
Come on.
Let's face it. Come on.
Because yeah, like I don't know. Here's so anyway, I just thought that was interesting. It seems a bit funny. So in other news, this is something you brought up, Edge.
I was shocked when I saw this like one morning. I looked at my
Edge,
phone.
every
and-
time you bring up these news
I'm
stories,
sorry.
you're making me. You're just emphasizing more and more why I do not fly. I do not
Stay on
like
the
to
ground.
fly. Honestly, this is just like, all right, go on. You take it, because this is wild. So
Okay.
yeah.
I would also like to know further details on this.
Well, here we go. Flight suspended after
Okay,
man is
so
sucked
this
into
was from
plane engine. Good
this was
Lord.
from the 8th of July. So this was in Italy, Milan Bergamo International Airport, and
how do you get
they
sucked
said,
into the?
well, they said the person appeared to run on the runway before voluntarily entering the engine.
So
I
he
mean,
was
what a way
crazy.
to phrase it.
So
What a way to phrase it. Voluntarily entered the engine.
How did
Like, who the fuck writes this? I'm sorry. Like, you say so he killed himself, but
Well, I mean, it's Sky News.
voluntarily
Like,
entered the engine. Voluntarily jumped off a building. Voluntarily put a sword to himself.
So either he was completely mad, and he had booked a ticket for this flight, and then he just went mad and decided to.
Is there footage of this? I haven't seen it.
I don't know if they showed the actual thing, but you can play it and see what
Are you
happens. Yeah, I don't think they're going to show the person running. Oh, that's him running.
What? There.
What the heck is going on? I don't know.
Either way, it's just like sad news.
It's sad, but it's crazy. Like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah,
where's the security? I've heard there's so much tight security there. Like, what the heck? Like,
Yeah, so he was like 35 years old, and he ended
Does it
his
say anything else?
life. The flight was like headed for Spain,
north of Spain.
to
Okay.
Asturias,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just sad.
But nothing more about the guy. Like, what?
No,
He just
no.
ran into it. All right.
I'm always paranoid. Like when I'm boarding a plane, you hear those engines like, zzz, and they have those like cords or something, pulled out and stuff.
Yeah.
But
or
sometimes you see somebody on a wing, like looking at the rivets, and
oh my god, I have a friend who told me that a pigeon got caught in the turbine in flight, and they had to like land.
Yeah,
and this is like, oh god.
And if it has 4 engines, like 2 on each side, I mean, kind of okay, they can balance it. But like if it has 2, or like a swarm of birds, in some countries, like they have eagles or falcons to get rid of all the pigeons.
Oh man,
I know. I think it's Dubai where they have them so the pigeons don't shit
yes,
in their skyscrapers. But they also use those at airports as well,
yeah,
but with trained people like on their hands, like they did in the medieval times.
Look, all I can say is this: is that why is it that technology has advanced so much for every other form of transport, like boating, shipping, trains, cars now, and stuff like. But why have planes? I'm not talking about jets. Okay, that's a different thing. But why have planes not advanced? Commercial airlines, how have they not advanced since technically the 1950s? In my view, like why aren't there?
There was the
safety
Concorde,
precautions?
but like,
we saw what happened with that. Well, there was the the crash, the explosion, which kind of they're bringing it back though. They want to bring back the Concorde now. But I'm sorry.
Fast.
They could advance so much more, make the plane experience so much more comfortable and safe. I don't know. I just whatever. And now they want to have like, what is it? Interstellar, because Richard Branson from Virgin, you know, and also like
trips
Jeff
to
Bezos.
space.
Yeah, screw that, man. You crazy? Putting me in a rocket like that?
Already, Jeff Bezos put his wife in the, well, she wasn't his wife then, but he sent her up into like anti-gravity.
In the stratosphere.
Space.
Yeah.
As like a promotional stunt. He probably told her, if you want to get married, then you're gonna get in there for me.
I'm happy to have my feet planted on the ground. Anyway, let's we got to close off we have one more thing.
Here's our last reaction.
Referring to what we have brought up also, because it seems to be always in the public consciousness, AI. This is a ad now. So now people who make ads and commercial filmmakers, guess what? You might be out of the business, because this is not the first time I heard about this. But the liquid death, infamous amongst a lot of streamers and content creators, because it's a water. They made an ad made 100% with AI. Here we go. Let's have a look how good it is. I can still always tell that it's AI. That's the thing. I don't know why people think it's how do you say, it's too uncanny that I can still determine. But let's have a look.
Still some fake stuff. This is from deeply.ai.
Okay. Is there music in this or something that we have to? Do we have to
take a guess why I pulled you over? Oh, it's not what you think. It's liquid death. There's sparkling mountain water. Wow, you weren't kidding. That is refreshing. But it's not why I pulled you over. Oh boy. Is it the busted taillight? Nuh-uh. Is it because of the license plate? Nope. Shit, man, it's the dead guy, right? No, sir. Is it the human trafficking, perhaps? Nuh-uh. Man, is it the truck thing? I don't think so. Well, what is it then? The robbery? No. The bumper sticker? No. It's the roadkill, isn't it? Haven't heard of it. The chemical waste? Nuh-uh. Is it the roller coaster seat? Is it the cult thing? Absolutely not. Hell no. All right, I give up. What is it? It's because it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Kevin. Dad, you remembered. Happy birthday to you. You're the best dad ever. Happy birthday to you.
I want to say something first of all. I get that this is supposed to be edgy because liquid death is really edgy. I know the
name.
But I know the creator behind it. The creator behind it, I think he used to be a skater and stuff, and like that's all fine.
Oh, okay.
I don't think human trafficking is something to really joke about, in my opinion.
Well, to be honest, because we were talking about it earlier, like the real situations, like not just about Epstein, but also about Diddy, like in previous live streams, and also about like what's going on in the Middle East, like with Gaza and all this stuff. It's not the right time.
Me personally, given what it entails and interconnected, which maybe we have to make a video about that because we did plan to do it. But
it's not something to joke about.
Well, in the context that they were trying to do it, I felt was like, I get that comedy can be dark sometimes, right? But like, the thing about human trafficking is that, in my view, people involved with that, they should get the death penalty. That ruins lives. It destroys people, families. No, I'm sorry. I just that's diabolical. It involves a whole grand scope of things, by the way, when I say human trafficking, sex trafficking, child trafficking, everything.
That's like the worst kind
and
of,
I mean, the Diddy team thing as well, man. Like, oh God, okay, all right, whatever. I don't know. Why do we have to always push the envelope like to extremes? Like, it's whatever. But anyway, I still could tell that was fake, like that wasn't like real. Like, I don't know. It's something that just, it's not natural.
Something in the face or the reaction or the voice, like it's something that don't fit together.
And this is what I've said back in the early days, in the 2000s, when they started applying CGI, because CGI became the new thing, right? They were using it for so much, especially because of George Lucas back in the first few episodes, episodes of Star Wars. And I could still determine like that it was CGI because it was always a bit flat, even though it created all that, amazing world. But and hear me out on this. If you watch those first few episodes of Star Wars and you compare that to like Lord of the Rings, it's worlds apart, because Lord of the Rings was physically in these locations, or Game of Thrones,
Yes,
right?
New Zealand.
You can't compare. Just like when they started, also became very popular to use CGI blood in a lot of these. Like, it's just the organic element. You cannot. It doesn't. I don't care like what people. This is why I tell people, like, yes, AI can get very advanced, but it will never replace. I don't think it can ever replace. It's never going to be that good. Like from the practical, real thing.
Not for now.
Anyhow. Now we've gone over a bit, but that's a wrap, I guess, for our Friday news round of the ENDstream. Thanks for tuning in. For those who stuck with us, and we look forward to your comments. Give us a like. Again, we keep repeating ourselves, but follow us on if you have Kick or Rumble. Follow us there too. We do upload to Rumble too our special videos, just as the same on YouTube. However, on YouTube, we share our clips. We're going to also be posting some shorts. And give us a like, spread it around, share. If there's anything here that you want to comment or discuss, feel free to join our community Discord. Join there, where you can contribute and participate and give us, your own point of view, and also maybe any news or articles or things that you would like to see covered. And of course, you can follow us on X and Instagram. So with that, I'll leave it to Edge.
I just want to say it's a pleasure. Hope everybody has a nice weekend and a week ahead. And like in this world of chaos, I'd just like to end this this live stream with just a note. Remember that although life's is like fucking crazy, don't forget to appreciate the smaller things in life, because they can go a long way. Because everybody's like chasing to do something big or something huge, but to be honest, you can also find pleasures in small things, the people you're with, some things you might take for granted, because some other people in the world might not have them, or have people around them, or have
You're basically saying don't forget to smell the roses. That's
but
basically
like a lot of people don't have freedom in the world, and we kind of take it for granted. So
what is freedom?
And always try and be positive in some things. And
and also don't forget that it's always every new day. And this was...
Come on.
I was giving it to you.
All right.
This was
NTV.